is the last thing. What
I'm
the
going to
fuck?
leave the spot open and spectate so they can move around, right?
They shouldn't have extra people. You should be fine to jump down.
Yeah?
There's still spaces in the lobby left, so whatever.
Okay.
Shit, they're doing pro draft, which means all of my work that I put into making that thing just doesn't matter.
Fucking pro draft, man.
Also weird, you could hear the alerts, but you couldn't see them for some reason. I don't know. Oh, I needed music. Music first. Where do we want? Does LPL have champ select music?
I don't watch LPL, so I do not know.
Well, it autocorrects to LOL rather than LPL, so probably not.
No dabbing crow this time
Nah, he was there for
dab.
dab and their god. This'll work, I guess. This is gonna be a little loud. All right. I need to figure out. Browser.
Cancerous Rex. What's our boy Cancerous Rex play?
It'll just look janky, whatever. Okay.
Record time. We can always rely on you to get the stuff set up.
I don't like that it's got a scroll bar for some reason. That's a little strange.
What's that?
For whatever reason, when you put the ProDraft in as a browser source, it just includes a scroll bar on the side. I don't want it.
Are you able to like clip it out? I changed the.
I could if I like dragged it to the edge.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't.
If it's a pain in the ass, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll make it through all right with one scroll bar.
Well, it's even weirder because like it doesn't have the no ability to scroll. It's just like a blacked out scroll bar, like grayed out on the top and bottom.
It is really weird.
Okay, they've all said ready. Oh, there's stuff happening. All right. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, officially, geckos and sticks alike, to the stream. My name is Meristematic. I'll be your lovely play-by-play as we try to guide you through this first Platinum semifinal. Joining me today is Mr. Analyst himself. It's Aikedo.
Hello, I'm here to attempt to analyze the high-level gameplay that we're going to be watching today.
So, this is the first semifinal of the Platinum Summer Splash. We're going to have the second one tomorrow at 8 p.m. on our stream as well. I'm pretty excited to get to cover both of them. And yeah, our two teams today, Gecko Slammer Armaggedon and MG Blaze. You can see this hastily thrown together pro draft because I wasn't expecting that we were going to use pro draft. But some bands coming through: Galio Mordekaiser, Lee Sin Morgana off the table, and the last band for GSM coming through. So these two teams, the 2 and the 3 seed, but had very different trajectories, as Gecko Slammer Armaggedon just solidly the 2 seed, right? Only loss was to Return of the Middle Sticks, the number 1 seed. They cruised their way to a 6-1 record, no hiccups on the way. For MG Blaze, a little bit more difficult season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of an up and down. Although in this last week, in the last week of the season, they were able to secure the 3rd seed by beating the 4th seed, Bucky's Amusement Park. So they're coming in off of a win. They fought to get here and they made it. Now they're facing off against a tough GSM team, as we see GSM potentially locking in that Volibear pick first. Strong pick on this patch. Can be flex top lane or jungle, although jungle did just get nerfed a little bit. I don't think it's affected his pick rate or win rate too much, though, so it's still a strong pick.
Yeah, and just one more thing to touch on. These two teams have played before during the regular season. It was a 2-0 in favor of GSM, but back in week 4, and MGB has 2 or 3 new players since then. So a lot of shuffling on that roster, and we'll see what they come out with as Mr. 200 Years himself, as well as Graves, locked in for MG Blaze.
Yeah, so high priority picks across the board. Graves means that you have a pretty good jungle matchup, most likely, which is probably a pretty good thing to prioritize against Waterbear, who is one of the stronger junglers in the league. See Ezreal and Karma potentially picked up here. Also strong champions. Panda has been playing quite a bit of Karma recently, so not too crazy to see them put some priority on it. And that's just an extremely difficult lane to lane against. So much poke. It's very difficult.
Yeah, and the Lock and the Nautilus to pair with the Aphelios, the 200 Years Under the Sea combo. I really like this combo, but it's going to have a little bit of difficulty against the poke from Ezreal Karma. But if they can get out of that lane in a even slightly behind position, the Aphelios Nautilus can start to take over a game.
Absolutely, everyone's seen what Aphelios does, and with someone to set him up like the Nautilus, it's always a possibility there. It will be interesting to track the laning phase to see if Nautilus is able to take advantage of Karma. So with how much poke and how much damage the bot lane for GSM will have, it's their lane to lose, definitely. So we see a couple more bans coming in. Victor, Wukong, who of course has been a pretty high priority in most of the professional regions. Got a slight nerf this patch, but again, like 0.15 seconds off the knockup on his ult, it didn't seem too impactful.
Yeah, I am kind of curious. So, number one, it's a double ult, so it's 0.3 seconds total off of the ult, because it's 0.15 off of both things, but the Wukong and Rumble bans, both against the top laner SG, I think we went with SG Degree last time. It's actually got a line underneath it, I just noticed. I don't know, but that kind of indicates to me that they're either trying to protect that Volibear pick with the bans, or they've got something like spicy planned for Jack.
And with the Maokai lock-in, I might expect to see Jack to go with something like the Darius, who oftentimes can bully these tanks in lane, and get a pretty significant lead. Although he might just be playing the Volibear. We'll see if... Yep, there's the Darius. Darius, with the Ghost buffs coming in, we'll see if Jack wants to go with Flash Ghost, which sort of makes him an absolute menace right now.
Yeah, and for full disclosure, we are very much more familiar with the GSM team than the MG Blaze. We're going to do our best to remain as unbiased as possible, but we just have the knowledge bombs to drop on GSM, and we just don't quite have that to draw from for MG Blaze. But the Sylas would be very interesting. There's a lot of good ults to steal, and he will lock it in. So that's Sylas blind in the mid lane, and now MG Blaze for XBKP will get to counterpick.
Yeah, and against Sylas, you would assume that you'd want something that's, longer range, especially against the Darius and Volibear, something that can kite out. Maybe like an Azir here, maybe a Xerath. Cassio's probably fine.
You can put Sylas and Ezreal on the Miasma, the Don't Move juice, and make sure that you can lock them down, which is something that can be very difficult to do. Not as impactful against the Darius and Volibear, but can kite decently. I don't mind it. It's just a big old team fighting comp for MGB, and for GSM, they're a little bit more skirmish oriented, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Though when they do group up, they have the karma to sort of enable this Volibear and Darius to be a bit more effective than they otherwise might be. But their composition is very much going to try and run at you and just stat check.
Yeah. Everybody's ready now except for MG Blaze. So
My chat does the thing where I can't see anyone's names,
Ah.
so I can't tell who's readied up and who hasn't.
all right. So now we get rid of this source, transition. Boom. Look at that. That's
Gorgeous.
production. Oh, I'll get rid of my. I know this triggers some people. We'll go ahead and just get rid of that. Oh, you get a penguin emote for playing a TFT game this week. That's cute. All right.
Is that right? I need to play a TFT
Yeah.
game then.
Yeah, he's got like a party hat and a party favor. Anyway, they're just gonna pick the same stuff that we just saw, so this isn't high priority talk time, unfortunately. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This is Return of the Middle Sticks official channel. I, Meristematic, am an admin. Aikedo is the jungler for our Platinum team currently, as well as one of my favorite analysts. And yeah, we'd really appreciate if you dropped us a follow. We're getting very close to affiliate on our own, and we're just pleased to be able to bring you some more Platinum action. We thought our season was over after our last stream, but you know, we get to keep going for this semifinal as well as the next one tomorrow night. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and hopefully you enjoy the ride as we start to lock in those picks and bans. And I did want to touch on Cancerous Rex as well as Cubic Zesty, both kind of emergency substitute players, kind of unexpected for this game time. And how do you've played through 7 or 8 weeks potentially with your team. How do you just adjust a new member in? How do you feel going into a playoff game with a sub?
It's always difficult because, you know, after playing with the, you know, very consistent roster for a couple months, you sort of have synergy in an idea of how other people will play. You know, for us, everyone on our team has a very, you know, specific role, and we expect specific things from them. You know, and especially for his GSM team, who Midnight Slushy had been, you know, such a staple here in this mid lane for them all season. You know, extremely strong performances. That you losing them at the last minute, it's always difficult to make that transition. But both teams, you know, for better for worse, have at least one substitute in there. So we'll see which team's able to adapt more to this.
Yeah, and just to touch on a question in the chat, who's the favorite? It would be Gecko, Slammer, Armaggedon, GSM. There are 2 seed compared to our 3 seed. They met in the regular season. It was a 2-0 for GSM. So all of those signs would tip toward a GSM victory. However, new players, roster shifts have happened, especially with a sub-mid laner now for GSM. There's a lot of wrenches thrown into that particular prediction. I would still probably favor GSM in this matchup, but there's a lot of moving parts that are difficult to account for.
Absolutely. Based purely on the pedigree and sort of being more familiar with these players and with this team, I think that GSM just sort of, you know, has a little bit, it's tipped slightly in their favor. That said, you know, it's the 2 versus the 3 seed. And MG Blaze didn't have that bad of a record. I believe ended up 4-3. So, you know, they fought to get here. They have a bit of momentum, and with some roster swaps in there, it's definitely a formidable team to be facing against and to worry about.
Yeah,
you know, I don't think that it's something that GSM can sort of, you know, just ignore this game. I think it's something that they likely had to do prep for.
Yeah, and especially coming off of a big win last week. They were sitting in 4th, could potentially have been eliminated had the games swung a little bit differently, and they bopped Bucky's Abusement Park, passed them in the standings, took that 3 seed, avoided return to the Middle Sticks in the semifinals. They've got to be feeling pretty confident, and sometimes that confidence makes up for that difference in skill.
Yeah, absolutely. And GSM didn't even play a game last week, so, you know, a little bit colder. You know, a lot of the momentum you'd have to think would be here with MG Blaze. It's sort of something that's difficult to account for, or, you know, to say exactly how much it matters, but it definitely can affect outcomes. You know, especially with the best of 3, where getting one game can just shift the momentum so much. Um,
Yeah, and we do have to ask if you are participating in the game. I haven't seen anybody, I'm not calling anybody out in particular. If you're participating in the game, you're not supposed to be in chat per the GetRect rules. I don't have any way to enforce it, so this is kind of, Scout's honor, and also you're on a 3-minute delay, so good luck anyway. But yeah, if you're in the game, just go ahead and turn off that stream and uh, focus on your game. You can come back, you can watch the VOD later. We'll still be here.
yeah, the VOD will always be here. Um, we can't see it yet, but something I do want to see is if Jack Loves Lamp on the Darius decided to opt for the Ghost. Again, a lot of solo queue Dariuses, especially with the Ghost buff, have been absolute menaces with this Flash Ghost combo. It sort of makes it that whenever he has it up, and if you walk up and contest any CS in your lane, Darius will run you down and will kill you. Of course, the flip side of that is that then you're in a competitive match without teleport. So it'll be really interesting to see the way that he decides to approach this laning phase. If it is to just smash lane, win game, or if it's, play a little bit more reservedly, but with the option of teleport in the late game.
Yeah, and I mean, you can kind of get away with it with teleport on Sylas and Ezreal. You'd have to dedicate maybe some more side lane to them later in the game, but strictly for that lane matchup, you can dominate early as Darius, but Maokai will hit a point where you can't kill him anymore, and it's a matter of getting your work done in that intervening window. For that, I kind of dislike the matchup in a competitive sense. If this were solo queue, I'd be like, yeah, just run him over. I don't care, whatever. But in a competitive sense, where that Maokai can just kind of hang in, get a little bit more free farm than maybe usual, I like that pick. I think that it winds up being okay a decent percentage of the time, and we'll just have to see how Jack and Waterbear allocate those resources on the top side.
Absolutely. The onus is on GSM to take this advantageous matchup. This is the counter pick that they wanted. And to justify that they wasted this, not wasted, but that they utilized this pick for that.
Yeah, on the other side. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was going to say, on the other side, you used your draft to set up for that Cassiopeia counter pick in mid lane. So I really want to see XBKP have a big game. Be able to get through this lane that should be relatively Sylas favored early. He should be able to farm up, though, and just turn into that late game monster. And if you can get Cassiopeia, Maokai, Aphelios rolling, boy, there's not really another like 3-man squad that I can think of that can out team fight that even.
Absolutely, and looking at just from a scaling perspective, GSM has very much a hardcore mid-game power spike, with the Ezra, with the Sylas. Volibear, gets extremely tanky in the mid-game and then sort of falls off in the late game. They're looking to be proactive and make things happen. Whereas MG Blaze, they have just an absurd level of scaling on their team. Cassiopeia, Aphelios, even Graves, they go to this late game and they just become absolute powerhouses in DPS. And then Maokai, Nautilus are just going to be, monstrous front lines for them. I think it's very obvious where the scaling sits in this. It'll be, the onus again on GSM to be making plays aggressively to, take the lead that they need to in this.
Yeah, already some interesting things to talk about. No Ghost on Darius, number one. But then the summoner choices I think are actually kind of strange coming out from the rest of GSM. You have the Ignite on Sylas, trying to get that lane dominance, get ahead of the Cassiopeia, and then the Cleanse on Ezreal isn't the worst or like least optimal choice. But I still feel like having teleport or having heal is critical. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not analyzing this correctly, but
It feels like teleport should probably be the priority. I mean, cleanse is kind of difficult against Nautilus because what exactly are you cleansing? He changed so much of his CC back to back to back. I'm not sure that it has as much use as it might against like a Leona.
yeah.
Um,
So welcome into Summoner's Rift. On the blue side of the Rift wearing the blue health bars will be Gecko, Slammer, Armaggedon, and on the top side of the Rift wearing the red health bars is MG Blaze, as they're looking to do kind of a late invade with 4 people on the bottom side. I really like the Conqueror Nautilus skin. I'm glad we get to see it already in game number 1.
yeah, that anchor is massive. Jesus. I haven't seen that skin in game yet, so it's a treat for us.
Yeah, also Waterbear with base Volley Bear. And I don't know that I've actually seen base Volley Bear because everybody's all about that 1000 pierced. I kind of like that. That doesn't look too bad for a base skin.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. With everyone else getting the free skin, you're sort of it's the hipster approach. You're the classic skin. No one else is running it. I like the approach there.
Yeah, and PTA Ezreal's kind of an interesting choice as well. He doesn't have the easiest time proccing PTA. Um,
Yeah, isn't Conquer more? Even
Conqueror,
Lethal
I've
Tempo is
seen
more.
Lethal Tempo, I've seen Fleet. I think that Press the Attack is like the worst of the tree,
Uh-huh.
but maybe there's a situation where you're just auto attacking down and that's worthwhile, or maybe he just didn't change his runes.
Yeah, maybe if Maokai's just sitting in your face and you're autoing him for 15 seconds, the extra damage amp will be enough, but we'll have to see. Um, both junglers starting red. It looks like Cubics on the Graves is going to go for more of a full clear, whereas Volibear probably a 3 camp into looking for a gank.
Yeah.
And already we see that Nautilus just engaging on the bottom
Oh,
side.
that PTA proc though, that actually chunked through Ward Box a pretty significant amount. Have to do be a little careful on that early game. That's where PTA kind of shines for Lucian. Maybe you can catch somebody off guard with it. Even if it is an accident, try to play to that strength of it.
One worry for this Nautilus lane into a poke heavy lane, if you engage too early, at the level 1, you don't have actual any kill pressure until level 2. Um, you sort of pay a lot of your HP bar, and now he can't even walk up in this lane. They're going to be sitting underneath their turret and just getting poked. It's difficult. You're using your HP as a resource, and you can't use it all too much too early.
Yeah, Water Bear was actually pretty low in his jungle. He hits level 3, still relatively healthy, but if Cubics had been wanting to get a little spicy, that could have been pretty dangerous for Water Bear. Didn't realize he'd get that low after that nerf.
Yeah, Volibear did have his sustain lowered a little bit. His W heals him a bit less off of jungle creeps. Um,
Isn't
so
it
perhaps feeling
50%?
that
Not
it's
a bit less.
50% of the heal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that before a lot of junglers considered his sustain as just too healthy. There was no point in the jungle where he ever had to recall. So, perhaps bringing it a bit more in line here.
Yeah, he's getting topped off on that Scuttle Crab along with his health pot, but just thought it was interesting. He was down to about a quarter, maybe even a little less at one point in his jungle clear. Um, yeah, so as we settle in, actually Graves is going to go for a gank in mid lane that we may or may not get to see. Well, I guess not. It's not
Yeah,
interesting enough for directed camera to show us.
he wasn't able to get close enough to put any damage down or anything. As we see already a pretty significant CS lead here in the top lane, 10 CS, and it's not even necessarily inflated by waves crashing. As well, it looks like SG Degree wasn't able to pick up those 2 CS.
Yeah, Wardbox landing a hook on bottom lane. They're going to invest the Ignite. Flash is burned from multiple people. Ari Panda taken pretty low. The Gravity Gun going to slow up, and the Sniper, the trade, its first blood to Boosted Asian, though. And now Cubics is here looking for the gank. Boosted Asian taken low. He's going to trade with Wardbox. That's actually huge. 2 kills for Boosted Asian, while Cubics does clean up 1. But the Ezreal off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, at first you would think that Falser on the Aphelios getting the extra first blood gold would be enough, but as we see Jack Love's Lamp just
Oh, he's
applying a
taking
bit of
him
pressure.
super low. Gonna flash forward for the W, hits him, and the autos or the tower's not gonna take him down. Jack Love's Lamp with the solo kill in top lane.
And already so much action. Jack Love's Lamp, we highlighted the matchup, and he's already taking advantage of it. Gotten the first blood. He's crashing that wave. Is going to be up almost 20 CS on this recall and quite a bit of gold. But in that bottom lane, Boosted Asian somehow in that, even though Graves came around, was able to trade out, gets 2 kills, has the Sheen, so has, they're going for more of the trading power in lane rather than, just stacking the tier. And it's probably not ideal for MG Blaze, as we see now. Aphelios can't walk up in this lane. He's being zoned from the XP, zoned from the CS. He's 13 down right now. But the big thing is, in that XP, he's already a level down um, against Boosted Asian. So really not favorable for them at all. The only person who comes out on MG Blaze happy at all is the Graves, who now has a pretty significant lead there in the jungle. Already hit level 6 before 6 minutes.
Yeah, so Cubic Zesty looking to put on his carry pants here. XBKP got a pretty good back as well. He's got his tier plus the Dark Seal. He's feeling pretty comfortable in that mid lane, just going to farm it up. But for now, Cancerous Rex and Waterbear going to go and duo up that dragon.
Yep, which early dragon means that you're pressuring that soul point early. Looks like it's going to be the Ocean Drake, so it helps out some in the laning phase. Not super impactful.
Yep. Now this wave crashing into tower. I thought Waterbear was maybe looking for a gank. He's hanging around in bottom side, at least making sure that Graves isn't here to push them out. But there is the gank in top lane as BKP and Zesty are both here. Cubic Zesty will take home that kill in the top side. Meanwhile, Wardbox going in the bottom gets PTA proc, getting chunked through. Boosted Asian can't find home on that kill, but two really low health bars, and Waterbear still hanging out in the wings. They've shoved this into tower. Let's see if they can get anything from it. Another hook lands onto Ari Panda, taking her really low underneath the tower. They'll trade it 1 for 2, but it's another couple of kills for GSM in the bottom side. Is Waterbear able to clean one up?
Yeah, and that looked like it should have been a clean dive. The two MG Blaze members had, about 300 health between them sitting underneath the turret, but Wardbox was able to find the hook onto Airy Panda, was able to trade out a kill. That said, still significantly in favor of GSM here. Just the massive XP and CS lead here is there's just so much CS dying underneath that turret. Felios here is just not happy at all with his position right now. As we see, Cubix has just sort of been chilling in this top side the entire time, farming up everything. He has a pretty significant
Ari Panda
lead on
ganking
his own.
mid. The chain not going to land from
Yeah.
Cancerous Rex, though. Yeah, I did want to ask while I have a second, since we have some MG people in chat, what does MG stand for, number 1? And is it SG or SG0? But Jack is in trouble as he's trying to kite away from Cubic Zesty. One more auto, plus the ult, the collateral damage will take it home, as Cubic Zesty now 3-0. But Cancerous Rex finds the all-in and mid lane out of nowhere, and 100-0's XBKP for the solo kill.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage there. Surprising amount of burst is able to find that solo kill. That said, it seems like MG Blaze seems to be applying a lot of their pressure into that top lane, trying to shut down the Darius snowball. Getting the Maokai to that breaking point that you were talking about earlier, where he no longer has to worry about Darius pressuring him too much. That said, when you apply too much pressure into your tank lane, Maokai's going to be tanky later no matter what.
Yeah,
Whereas
Waterbear
the
gets
rest
found
of
by
his lane-
Wordbox and Falser, just getting laid into by Flamey a little bit. Ari Panda here to collapse as well. Wordbox pops the stopwatch, but now Cubic Zesty around the side. He'll get abducted and absconded by Cancerous Rex. Falser's taken pretty low. He'll get chunked through, and Boosted Asian Arcane shifts over the wall, takes another one down. XBKP trying to collapse, but they're not going to be able to find those health bars, and Cubic Zesty's going to be forced to flee from his own blue buff.
Yeah, just disaster there is their collapse upon Waterbear. They thought that they'd be able to catch him out, but that bear's just so tanky early as we see they're doing a bit of a stare down there in the jungle. But, GSM, it feels like they're further ahead than, just 600 gold. Just based on the way that these kills are going, it feels like they have a pretty significant lead. I imagine it's just Graves. Yeah, it's Graves that's keeping them in that, as he personally has 1,000 gold over Volibear.
Yeah, and part of it is that they're playing like the team ahead. And if you play with confidence, sometimes that counts for a little bit more than the gold lead. They're going for the plays, and we haven't really seen that big counter punch. Yeah, they're picking up a couple of kills, and now SG is actually taking pretty favorable trades. He's closed that CS gap. So maybe that attention up to top lane's paying off just a little bit here. Although he's getting chunked through, he needs to be really careful. That Noxian Guillotine hits the Bramble Smash and walks away. Falser's got a bunch of Chakrams stacked up, but I don't think we're going to see anything else on the bottom side. That was a big ult from Boosted Asian. The Arcane shifts forward. The Flash Mantra Q from Ari Panda will take the kill.
Yeah, and
BKP just trying to defend. just trying to defend the Rift Herald going on. Now as Cancerous Rex taken low, the two mid laners just duking it out. One more Twin Fang's going to be enough. I don't know who got the Rift Herald. Cubic Zesty actually left the pit. Waterbear's trying to pick up the eye, it looks like, but he'll get taken down by Graves. Actually, it's Graves that picks up the Rift Herald. The big plot twist of the whole thing is that MG, malicious gaming, as I just learned, thank you Oshkosh and Harp King, able to pick up the Rift Herald and a couple of kills up on that top side. So as bad as the bottom side is going, the top side going a little bit better for him. Oh, it goes even worse. Boosted Asian just takes down Word Box while I'm trying to talk.
Yeah, and there's just no relaxing here. As they're just pedal to the metal, everyone fighting. As somehow Graves was able to pick up the kill onto the Rift Herald from over the wall. It must have been his ultimate, just hitting the last bit of damage, and that's sort of disaster there for GSM as their top trio just was obviously outclassed there and not quite able to, take down the objective. That said, the spot lane is still just such a disaster.
Yeah, it's hard. The bot lane's on fire. Oh, it's
On
really on fire. Oh, the Falser, 200 years, coming in, trying to heal back up. The turret just wasn't on the right target for him, unfortunately, so he's not quite able to turn that. Cubic Zesty's looking for it in the bottom side. He doesn't have his ult available, so he can't close that distance. Now, teleport coming in from Jack Love's Lamp. He's going to go ahead and apprehend Cubic Zesty, and does he have quick draw available? He gets the speed boost. Head gets dunked, though, but it's the last kill from the auto attack from Ari Panda.
Yeah, and a pretty massive shutdown that Graves had there. Unfortunately, goes into the pockets of your Karma. You'd probably prefer that on the Darius or, on the Ezreal. That said, it's just a little bit too far up there for Cubics. The teleport from Jacklove's Lamp was able to secure them the kill, and with the phase rush, I think that a lot of Graves players play pretty confidently if they can get themselves out of any situation, but he ended up spending the entire speed boost rooted by Karma and just wasn't quite able to get away.
Yeah, now they're going to take down first tower in the bottom lane. Looks like assigning Ezreal to top lane just to stop the Maokai from continuing to push. But the really good play by MG kind of foiled by a good sequence from GSM now. I mean, I guess other than Boosted Asian killing himself, but, that happens, I guess.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too aggressive there, Eing straight in under turret. This patch, Ezreal's E has a longer cooldown, so wasn't quite able to get out. Although I think he limped away with about 5 HP.
Okay. Is that the analysis, is that because it was a longer cooldown that was a bad play? I like it.
Yeah. If it was a lower cooldown, I think he would have been fine.
That 2 seconds just, right in the kneecaps.
Absolutely,
all right.
Absolutely. I mean...
Anyway, it's a 2,000 gold lead. It's 2 dragons for GSM. They're, I would say, in control. We'll see what they can get out of this Rift Herald. They should be able to get some plates right before this despawns, so that's nice. Need to stay in range, though. Ult gonna go on to Waterbear. He's taken low. He's gonna be forced to jump away with the Stormbringer. Smites the Rift Herald for that little bit of extra health. Oh, he gets absconded and or I guess abducted is the second part, but he gets abducted just inside a tower range and falls. So they'll get the plates cashed in, but they're not able to find the kill and instead get one turned on themselves.
Yeah, just not quite enough damage to take down that extremely tanky Volibear. Waterbear made a little bit of an aggressive play, was able to get out, and Cancerous Rex picks up a kill on the end of that. Now, quietly becoming pretty strong on this Sylas. Basically even in gold now in that mid lane, but this is the sort of pick that once it gets ahead can be extremely difficult to deal with, especially this early in the game. You don't really have Grievous Wounds on anyone. So the heals are just going to be massive.
So the lane swap wasn't called at all by MG. They give up their top tower basically for free, as well as getting their Maokai just a little bit behind as a result of the overall balance of gold. I feel like just that little macro move to swap, I don't know that it was the best decision from GSM, but the way that MG didn't match it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, they weren't quite in the right place there and just sort of end up giving up both of their outers and their side lanes. A bit of a misplay there in their macro game.
now they do move their duo mid, so we've got both duos setting up near mid lane. Hook gonna land, but it gets buffered, of course. Um, I don't know
That's
that I
okay. It's a
like.
longer cooldown now. He's got it. He can
Yeah, you do
he
need
can
this
re-engage
defensive
it.
setup. I don't know, like, where are you looking to make plays if you're MG? Because this is going to be a difficult spot with the lane state the way that it is currently.
Yeah, I imagine if you're having the Cassio against the Darius, that might be something that, Cubics might be able to go down and impact that a little bit. They're able to both kite it out, but here in this mid lane, I think that they're just going to get pushed in and slowly lose this tower as just the massive gap and, purely items here from Ezreal compared to, Aphelios. Ezreal has the, oh man,
And
I was going to say
Cubic's trying to
Cubic.
get away with the collateral damage. Silas just staying on him now. Falser gets chunked. On the bottom side, though, XBKP trying to kite away. He just needs that move speed away from Jack Love's Lamp, but he gets executed by the Noxian Guillotine. In the mid lane, though, the Ezreal ult sails just wide of being able to pick up another kill. But it's coming up GSM right now, and just the way that they've assigned lanes, I think, has given them a lot of tempo and a lot of gold advantage now through the last, like, 3 or 4 minutes.
I think it's
Oh, they're going to
difficult
maybe
for
find another one. Cubic going to get out of there. All right, well, Cancerous Rex hits a Q, but it doesn't really matter. He'll take another flame to the back just for his trouble. Man, if there had been the Moonlight Vigil in there from Falser, he might have got 2 kills.
Yeah, he could have 200 years his way into that fight, but unfortunately with the MG Blaze setup, they don't have a ton of wave clear. So once the bot lane for GSM gets so far ahead, who's going to match them in the mid lane? Outside of sticking your Graves there and having everyone share XP to, wave clear that, it's extremely difficult to match. The Cassiopeia doesn't exactly have great, safe wave clear.
Yeah,
Dragon's
outside
up.
of when you have Flamey on your Aphelios, I don't know.
And even then, like, he has to be pretty close to the wave to be hitting it. It's the sort of thing where against Karma Ezreal, you're gonna get poked down, and once the Volibear shows up and threatens that dive, you can't stick around. You still don't even have a finished Infinity Edge. It's 18 minutes now. Your Aphelios is just in such a weak spot compared to Ezreal, now completed 2 core items, is getting close to stacking his tier. Just 100 mana left to go, so he's going to be an absolute monster here in the next couple minutes. Whereas your Aphelios, I mean, it's very difficult to be the 200 years if you have 0 gold.
Oh, they're going to try to engage. Cubic Zesty trying to just take away from some jungle camps. Instead, they're going to get engaged on. Wordbox is going to be left for dead as Boosted Asian is on a rampage. Cancerous Rex around the side. He has the AP-empowered collateral damage to try to finish this one off as Ari Panda is on a rampage on the Karma after taking down SG.
Ari Panda continuing the tradition from the Leona earlier in the split, now just picking up every single kill. Second kill leader on the team. But you just have to wonder, MG Blaze sort of getting caught out there for what? Trying to get the Grom at 19 minutes?
Yeah,
bit
they
of a
picked up the
misplay there.
second Rift Herald before that, and then it went for an invade, I guess. Now they're going to be counter-invaded as Cubic Zesty, he's just standing his ground, goes ahead and fires into Water Bear, takes a good chunk out of him, but Wardbox might pay for this again as BKB hits a pretty good ult. They'll trade 1-for-1 so far, not the worst, but they need to get out now as Boosted Asian able to bring his power to the forefront, and he'll jump in for the double kill. Zesty just throws the smoke screen up and will be forced to retreat. But Boosted Asian is huge right now. He's 7-1. He has the Iceborne Gauntlet as well as the Miramana completion. Yeah, he's a big boy.
Absolutely how fearless he is. Pressing E forward, in between 2 turrets, he just knows that no one's able to turn the damage onto him, and he's, picking up kills here, just putting out so much damage. It's extremely difficult for MG Blaze. We talked about earlier, they have the scaling advantage. If this game is able to go 40 minutes, it is something where they should be able to come out on top. It's just a matter of looking at it now. How on earth do you slow down Boosted Asian on this Ezreal, who's just so absurdly far ahead now?
Yeah, and to complicate things, you're going to pick up the Cloud Soul here in 2.5 minutes. If you're GSM, you can open up a Baron pretty soon. These are objectives that you can't afford to lose. So far, it's been whatever. You can give up a couple of dragons, but now it's crunch time. And are they in a position where they can fight right now? I don't think so.
Yeah, what are the item breakpoints? Is it Aphelios on a Zeal item? Does he have to get 2 Zeal items before you can actually start to contest these things? The Cassiopeia is going for Azania's here, which means that she's not going to have, a Death Cap or a Leandri's for a long time. Looking at it, I'm not sure what their item breakpoints are that they're going to receive in the next few minutes. I think that you have to give up the soul. Cloud Soul, not the strongest of them, but uh, it almost seems like you have to give it up and then just play for Elder.
Yeah, Cloud Soul on Volibear and Silas is kind of ridiculous.
It's a little scary.
Karma's
Yeah.
alright as well with it. Darius is pretty much a throwaway, and so is Ezreal, but, 3 out of 5 isn't terrible for a Cloud Soul, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, in the grand scheme of things, is
He's
it worth
just
trying
chunking
to
through
contest?
cubics, but the snare gonna not matter at all because that was a ton of damage from boosted Asian as he's able just to fight his way through 2 people essentially in the mid lane. Now Cancerous Rex finds the abduct onto SG, just hits the Petricite Burst over the wall, trying to find anything. He'll grab the Maokai ult and just throw it over just to try to zone everybody off this turret. Minion wave crashing in mid here at 21 minutes, and GSM looking to put their stamp and seal on game number 1.
Yeah, you'd have to think that if they're able to break the base, that just, applies even more pressure. That basically guarantees them the dragon, guarantees Baron as...
A lot of
See,
ults being
MG.
exchanged across the gap. No one getting particularly low. Cubic Zesty maybe the lowest of the bunch, but boosted Asian still, most importantly, is full health, unaffected by the CC. Oh, he
my
just
God.
picked that up! The blind Q back behind the turret as he takes down Wardbox.
So much damage, and what's MG Blaze to do? They can't engage on him, and he's getting closer to the death stance. This only gets worse from here. So
Yeah,
we see-
Falser just trying to do anything he can across the gap. He's doing a little bit of chip damage, but it just isn't sticking particularly well to Cancer's Rex. They're going to finally jump onto Boosted Asian, but Cubic Zesty can't find that full kill. And the True Shot Barrage will say, no sir. Boosted Asian's legendary. He's 10-1 now.
Yeah, no, he's a little bit strong there. At this point, it's extremely difficult to see how they would be able to come back into this game.
Hook sails just wide, but Cancerous Rex is looking for it over the wall, has the petrifying gaze, whiffs it, and dies to the Cassiopeia. So a little bit of a mistake, maybe an overextension. The Chakrams come through, almost taking down Jackalope's Lamp, but they'll get the Mantra E to try to speed out of here. Meanwhile, Volibear has soloed the Dragon and got Cloud Soul, but Boosted Asian's still looking for more, trying to turn this back around. The snare from Falser isn't going to matter as he cleanses it away. Now gets stunned by the Cassiopeia. He'll jump in, but they just aren't coordinated. They're not going in at the same time.
No.
And another snipe, just for good measure. The double kill for Boosted Asian as Waterbear looking for a little bit more. The double apprehend from Jackalope's Lamp as SG in trouble. Will get taken down. Cubic Zesty will trade one back, but I don't know that it even matters. The collateral damage not going to find home. And the inhibitor will at least fall in the mid lane for Gecko Slammer Armageddon. And they're looking to get more. Graves in trouble. They're going to trade Karma for Graves. I guess that's fine. I don't know that you want to be trading at this point, but does it matter?
That's it. The Ezreal's sitting on 3,000 gold. They're probably going to just look for a reset here and likely the Baron afterwards. God, just press X and look at the gold difference between Ezreal and Aphelios. Ezreal literally almost has twice as much gold, up 5,000 gold over his counterpart. This man's just a monster. God,
Yeah, now we're going to go back and see this sick buy. He's going to grab a Death's Dance and half of his next item. Boy, to be a 3.5... Yeah, there's a Last Whisper. Why not? To be a 3.5 item Ezreal against a 1.5 item Aphelios.
yeah, I mean, Aphelios still has the 100 years, right? Like, that's...
He's down to 100. He lost 100 of them.
True. At this point, 1.5 items, it seems less formidable.
Yeah, he's got red-white right now, so this is when people are saying he's strongest. Cubic Zesty might not give him a chance. The hook from Wardbox doesn't land. They're trying to defend their own jungle, and they're just getting bullied out of it. Cubic Zesty's going to fall.
No.
Boosted Asian goes melee range against Graves and just doesn't care. They're going to take the red buff. They're going to take whatever they want at this point. The Barons should be the next objective. SG and XBKP, the letter combo, have teleport. But no wards to go to, so this is just going to be a walk-in if they even want to try to defend it.
Yeah, GSM should be able to secure this for free, and After that, you would expect them to just walk down a lane and end. They're just so far ahead at this point.
I,
God.
I love that Cancerous Rex just hangs out over the wall. He threw a Q over the wall, like, guys, I'm contributing to Baron, but nah, I'm just gonna hang in this bush, see ya.
He knows well that his damage is not necessary to bring it down, so played it safe, zoning off.
Yeah,
It's
he's also just the least rich person in the game right or on his team right now. So
yeah. Surprisingly enough, even behind the Karma has as much money as Darius. Picking up that shutdown early. I mean, she has the finished the finished Athene's Unholy Grail, um, as well as the Ardent Censer, going towards probably a Locket. It's gonna be, if it wasn't impossible before to kill the Cesriel, it's now practically impossible.
yeah, I wanted to talk at one point about the Black Cleaver on Darius, and I'm just not gonna get the chance to ever. So just assume that I'm mentioning that and just like the unhappy face, just Black Cleaver bad, and let's move on with our lives now.
Yeah, unfortunately for the top side of the map, it seems like this top lane matchup didn't really affect too
Oh,
much of the
Cubic
outcome of this
Zesty's
game.
just.
Oh.
I thought he was running to his team, but he was running away from other GSM members. They collapse on him as a 5-man squad in the jungle, take down the richest person on MG Blaze, and now GSM, looking to close this out as cleanly as they can.
Yeah, no, you'd imagine for MG.
Volibear
Oh,
jumps in,
no.
the Stormbringer, he's looking for that engagement. Boosted Asian just runs through the turret. They hadn't taken it yet. Waterbear's chunked pretty low. Jack Love's Lamp gonna find a dunk as Cancerous Rex finishes off the kill, but Boosted Asian, importantly, untouched at the back of the fight, picks up the double kill. SG gonna be ignited and taken down underneath the tower. They'll split a couple of kills. They'll split apart these Nexus towers, and that'll be game number 1 for Gecko Slammer Armaggedon.
Yeah, pretty convincing game from them as they're able to close this one out. There's a point in the game where it was a little bit closer, but once you hit that 10-12 minute mark, GSM just sort of sort of took the game over and closed it out pretty cleanly.
Yep, just to highlight, let's take a look at a couple of stats. Yeah, there you go. There's some stats. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of analysis other than Ezreal good. There we go. I don't know if you
That damage chart seems pretty it's pretty balanced.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
say it was an equal contribution from everyone there in the damage department.
yeah.
Uh,
Have you seen the meme? I think it was like 2 days ago. It was like the junglers arguing, "Man, it's jungle difference. My mid laner, doesn't do anything. I couldn't do anything this game." And then the bottom is just the top laners. We were both useless this game. Yes, we were.
yeah. Yeah, no, not unfortunately for them, they didn't have too much of an impact on this game. Even with Jack Love's Lamp able to get that early lead, the story really just comes down to that bottom lane, to just how impressive they were able to be with that Ezreal Karma.
Yeah, so we'll take a small break while we set up game number 2. GSM is going to lead 1-0 in this best of 3. Look to close it out here in just a couple of minutes. We're waiting on an invite, so it might be a couple of minutes before everything gets rolling. Not that we're going to stop talking, just there's the official break for the VOD.
Yeah, yeah.
The rough part about Discord casting is, sometimes you're just still sitting here and you need to talk to the guy, so we'll be less professional on the stream. We have a lobby invite just as a general update, so shouldn't be too long now.
Yeah, we'll see if we get the pro draft invite as well. I wonder if they'll keep same sides. Do we know? I imagine GSM had side selection, huh?
Yeah, GSM had side selection, so I'm guessing that MG has just chosen to keep red for game number 2.
Yeah, I wonder if the counter pick there, if they're able to get something a little bit more fruitful this time around.
Not that I thought the Cassiopeia was bad into Silas. We even saw at least one solo kill. We got the one moment of pop-off, but...
I think it was actually a solo kill the other way. I think
Well,
Silas picked.
there was the first one for Silas, but then
Mhm.
the second one by the Rift Herald was just a solo kill for
Oh,
Cass,
true.
and then had another good moment as well. So I thought the
Yeah,
cast
I
was
don't think
fine.
the Cassiopeia was necessarily bad as much as the team sort of lacked wave clear with how far behind their bottom lane got. That like Cassiopeia wasn't really able to play the game, and into somebody like Volibear who wants to jump on you and slow you and sit on your face. It's very difficult to be a Cassiopeia in that world. Hey, we get the spectate link.
Alright, I need to plug this in then. I like this music, which is... Oh, okay.
Which music do we have going?
This is called Ready to Engage. It's the LEC, one of the LEC champion select musics from this split.
Okay. Ooh. Looks like we might be getting Midnight Slushy after all. Just got invited to the lobby.
Nice. Our mid laner is back. Because they were the ones that needed the boost for game 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Cancerous Rex just didn't quite pull his own weight there. Got to bring in Midnight Slushy.
I like that Cancerous Rex said bye-bye and then he's just still in the lobby. Okay,
He was waiting for a response, you.
Wait for the homies to say goodbye.
Yeah, and then no one did. It's a big feels bad, man.
We're getting a lot of mileage out of this crow gif. I really like it.
I think it's a 10 out of 10 GIF. I mean, I know when you're tuning into Middle Sticks, you get great casting from Marishtomatic as well as the 10 out of 10 crow GIF for the in-between times.
Those are probably the only reasons, honestly. So welcome back. Draft has started for game number 2. GSM on match point, looking to close it out and advance to the finals on Saturday. MG Blaze just trying to hold on, and they're going to start with Morgana and Ezreal bans, and I don't blame them after that last game.
I understand the Ezreal brand, but I think that they need to ban Karma. I think Karma was sort of the facilitator there in the early laning phase. Instead deciding that Ezreal and Volibear were the issues, which are reasonable bans. They're definitely strong champions, so not too unreasonable an approach there. We'll see GSM if they want to first pick that Karma, or perhaps go with something else here. Aphelios as a possibility.
Yeah, Aphelios would make sense as a takeaway. It put MG on something else. And if you're thinking of your tier list 80 carries for pro play, you'd be looking at Varus, but he got pretty hit hard. So I don't know where you go after Ezreal Aphelios now.
I've been watching LCK, and LCK makes Ashe look broken. Like that champion looks extremely strong. Ooh, as we see the
Falser
Ash
hears
lock
you.
in.
Look at the
Let's go.
Nostradamus over here. Do you pair that with the Nautilus then? Or are you going to take away Karma or something else?
I think you hold support pick here because if Ariel ends up going something like Leona, then you could pair Ash with like a Zyra, really shit on that lane. Um, but we'll see. Opting for the Graves, again, trying to get a positive jungle matchup there, which it looks better when you're not into Volibear. Volibear just sort of is too tanky for Graves to really mess with for most of the game. Um,
Yeah, I thought Cubics had a pretty good early game. I mean, he was 4-0 at one point. I think even maybe 5-0, and then kind of hit the rough part of the game. But there's the Karma that we've been kind of curious about, and that'll be paired with the Aphelios. I don't have a cute duo name for them, so it's just going to be Aphelios and Karma.
We'll have to come up with one. But into Karma Aphelios, God, that's such a strong lane. Karma's sort of an oppressive champion now in the early game, which is why I feel like banning that one might have been the better shot. Do you go for something more engagey to try and give you, more of a stomp early game, or what do you think the approach should be here for MG Blaze?
You need something that can live against Karma. I almost feel like you go sustain. I don't hate Lulu. I was thinking more like a Soraka personally, but Lulu works kind of similarly. You kind of sustain through the poke, you can counter poke. You actually outrange the Aphelios now with the Ashe, so I don't hate it. I don't know that that's my favorite thing that I wanted to see, but it's fine.
Agreed. I don't hate the Lulu. I think that Soraka, or maybe Nami. I think Nami's sort of lost favor, but definitely are options. That said, the Olaf pick here for Water Bear, sort of counter picking yourself. When you're an Olaf player, one of the few matchups that isn't entirely favorable for you is the Graves matchup. So interesting. It's sort of a confidence pick, I'd imagine. He is very comfortable on that champion, of course. So feeling like he'll be able to play through the counter matchup.
Azir and Ornn taken off the table for GSM, and MG Blaze will no longer be able to play Cassiopeia or Wukong.
No Ryze ban here. I wonder if MG Blaze wants GSM to pick Ryze, because Midnight Slushy plays a lot of it. Then you could look for that Cassiopeia matchup again, right? Cassiopeia is supposed to do well under Ryze.
Yeah, I think that's like a traditional, I don't want to say counter, but you kind of out-farm, out-scale, and can live in a side lane against Ryze. The Malphite blind is an interesting one, though. This is, again, putting SG in the same position that he was in last game, where you're on that blind pick top laner. You got kind of worked up in top lane until Graves was able to bail you out. And Jack might call his bluff. He does. He pops the Maokai down.
Yeah, and Maokai is a champion that sort of bullies other tank matchups. He takes the grasp and is able to out-sustain most players and sort of outscale most champions. It's probably a good matchup here. I like that Jack decided to go with that. And Nunu and Willump hovered here. That's probably in the mid lane. Has been picking up a lot of steam, and it is the Nunu and Willump locked in for Midnight Slushy.
Yeah, Mr. Banana in the chat calling that one out. So it'll be the Nunu to round out the composition. That's a lot of speed coming out of GSM. Not a huge amount of damage, though.
Not a huge amount of damage, but a lot of this Nunu pick is just applying early pressure, running around with your jungler and roaming. So we'll see if they're able to make that work. That said, Syndra coming in. Syndra is able to cancel out the Nunu's snowball. I don't know. It seems like it's kind of a dangerous matchup. We'll have to see if Syndra's able to stay safe there.
It seems like almost like a trap pick. Like it's okay against Nunu, but it doesn't address the core problem of he's gonna roam around. You don't push particularly well. You have a kind of okay wave clear. You roam okay, but it's not like a man, I can kill Nunu or I can prevent him from roaming. In case you're wondering, the pick that I've seen talked about is the Vigar. You put him in the cage and then he just, number one, can't leave, can't throw the snowball. It just, and your cooldown syncs up very well with the snowball cooldown. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's, super great, but That's at least what I've seen talked about as a counter to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. That said, GSM already on the forefront of innovation here, playing the new champions. Um, and they're relying again on boosted Asian to sort of carry most of the damage in this composition. You know, they're sort of relying on him to do extremely well in the early game, get a lead, and be relevant. So I'd imagine for MG Blaze, you know, if you are Cubics on the Graves, you'd probably want to play around your bottom side and try and give any sort of advantage that you can to your Ashe. Ashe, once she's ahead, can be extremely oppressive. So we'll see. That said, you probably don't want to push too much against the Nunu and Willem. This champion is sort of notorious right now for shoving out his lane instantly and just roaming bot continuously.
Yeah, and while we have a second, while they're going through second pick and ban phase, I do want to beg again for follows. If you aren't following the stream, we'd really appreciate if you would. Getting very close to affiliate, which helps us open up a lot of possibilities in terms of potentially like hosting our own tournaments, creating content, things like that. So we'd just really appreciate it if you'd hit that follow button for us. Yeah, thank you. But to the matter at hand, I did want to talk a little bit about the Malphite blind. With Maokai available, that's a rough matchup for Malphite. And I hope that SG doesn't fall for the trap and go for like an Arcane Comet and just try to do anything, basically. The way that you have to play it as Malphite is you have to farm and somehow just find better engages than Maokai can. You just don't win lane at any point against the champion.
I imagine you opt for the Grasp to try and match some of the sustain, probably go Inspiration Tree secondary and just, you know, try and make it through the laning phase, just because I feel like that's where a lot of Maokai's power is, and, you know, feel free to correct me if I'm incorrect, but it's just, he has an absurd amount of sustain that he sort of just, you know, out damages and out survives, you know, a lot of these tank matchups.
Yeah, Malphite traditionally, like, wins quote-unquote matchups because you can just throw the Seismic Shard down on cooldown and just slowly poke people out with, like, a Comet Scorch. If you can't do that, you just kind of have to eat it until you hit level 6 and hope that your level 6 is more impactful. And in order to make it more impactful, you have to use your teleport, you have to move around the map well. You can't just kill Maokai.
Yeah.
There's no chopping the tree down.
I imagine we won't see too many solo kills in the top lane this game.
Yeah, so as we're looking at sort of how everything stacks up, I think that we really need to see the Ashe Lulu do well in order for MG to find that footing in the game. Otherwise, I don't know how they're going to, number one, kill this comp, and number two, like, play above their skill level, I guess, if that makes sense, compared to GSM.
Yeah, absolutely, and, you know, especially looking at their sources of damage this game. Syndra isn't really known for the most sustained damage or, you know, killing this tankier composition. Graves also, oftentimes, if you put a big meat wall in front of him, he has a lot of trouble, you know, putting out impactful amounts of damage. So they really are relying on this Ashe. You know, you're going to give her the Blade of the Ruined King, and, you know, I imagine a Hurricane as well, and just sort of rely on her to be melting this front line for your team. So in that sense, I wonder if like a Galio would have been really good for MG Blaze. Oh, was Galio banned? Oh,
Galio was banned.
Never mind.
Yep.
Never mind.
Yeah, I
they
feel like
need to really protect their bottom lane this game. I think make sure that GSM isn't able to impact it too much.
Yeah, I almost think the Cassiopeia would have been the better pick to go back to. I don't know how it fares specifically against Nunu, but I think the Miasma interrupts greatest snowball ever.
I would have to, maybe. Can you Hecarim E through Miasma? I don't.
It slows you at the very least. I don't know.
I mean, it definitely slows you.
Oh, Cass was banned in the second phase. You could have picked it earlier. That's retroactive analysis. You shouldn't have done that, but that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Syndra is at least on the more sustained damage side of your mages if you're looking for that. They banned Azir on their own, so like Corki if you play it maybe, but that doesn't even kill tanks particularly well. Yeah, it's just a hard. If you have the rest of this comp locked in to find that niche mid laner and then also play it well in the matchup.
For sure. I mean, the answer's Vel'Koz, right?
Again,
I
that
think
assumes that
Vel'Koz.
you know how to
For
play
sure. Who the
Vel'Koz,
fuck plays
are
Vel'Koz,
good at playing
right?
Vel'Koz,
Yeah.
and can hit your E like every single time on his greatest snowball ever, which isn't guaranteed. Otherwise, you just get kind of run down, I think.
I think a big thing here for MG Blaze is going to be, do they have the reps against this Nunu mid, which oftentimes has such a roam-heavy playstyle, and they have to be able to respect it. When he's missing from lane, they need to back up. They can't give him too many kills early. Yeah, I think that's going to be the big thing here, because I imagine that Midnight Slushy wants to, just shove out his lane and then go bottom, every 45 seconds.
Yeah, and again, you also have to think about it's a brand new pick for Midnight Slushy as well. How much experience does he have on that? Can he pilot it to the greatest of its ability? Because I think if you get behind or you're just not roaming on that Nunu mid, it's just not super great. That being said, there's so many strengths for it. The roaming, the objective control that you get, the ability to potentially counter jungle Graves in a losing matchup. Ooh, that feels pretty good.
So just a real quick look at Midnight Slushy's match history. He has about 15 games on Nunu mid in the last week, and he has a 75% win rate. So it looks like it's something that he's been putting the time into and has been, pretty successful with so far. Have to see if they're able to translate it in this, as we see, of course, going for the Dark Harvest, which is supposed to be pretty common on the Nunu mid now.
Just a reminder to speed up as we get in game. I don't think I need to
Yep.
tell you that, but welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2, match point for Gecko Slammer Armaggedon. They'll be on the blue side wearing the blue health bars, and Midnight Slushy crashed the game by picking Nunu mid, so it'll be just a second while they get him back in. But to finish the introduction, it'll be Gecko Slammer Armaggedon on the blue side wearing the blue health bars, and on the top side of the map wearing the red health bars will be MG Blaze fighting for their continued tournament existence. And yeah.
Exactly. This is sort of do or die for them as they're against this, slightly off meta brand new pick here for GSM. I said, looking at runes, Aphelios opting for lethal tempo. Again, we talked about his keystone choice in the last match. This time around, usually you see the Conqueror, right? That's sort of the staple pick right now for Aphelios. So interesting to opt for, a little bit different of an approach here. So we see maybe an invade here for GSM.
Yeah, all stacking up. This could just be the counter invade potentially, which I wouldn't blame them for after the kind of delayed invade from MG in the first game.
They have the snowball.
Oh, they're coming in the snowball. No. Oh no, Ashe gets knocked up into the mantra Q, gets rooted in its first blood for Ari Panda. Because why not? It's got to go to Karma again.
Yeah, Karma does a pretty good job of securing those kills.
That's just a dirty setup, though, man.
Yeah, and that's something that shows that they've obviously put time into this play or into this champion, and they know that they're able to do that. As we see, Jack is gonna find Cubics here. It's that's a play. That's a play.
Ari Panda goes back, buys 2 fairy charms and a pink ward. Awesome. All right.
As you do. No Dark Seal here.
Yeah, maybe unfortunately Jack does start the W, the Twisted Advance, rather than in a Sapling or a Bramble Smash, so has a little bit worse wave clear at level 1. I don't think that it'll matter too much. That's the only thing that's like super out of the ordinary that happened. Yeah.
He just one-shot the casters.
Yeah, that's the thing that you do.
Excuse me? Why does his W one-shot casters at level 1?
So it procs twice. I don't know a whole lot about Nunu, but...
And then his autos are like AoE, right? He's already... You could get like a cheater recall and then just pink ward. He's just... Oh no.
Yeah, you don't even
Wait,
need the
it
autos. It
one-shots
just
it
one-shots it.
again?
Yeah.
Jesus. That's a silly pick. That's a champion. Okay, Riot.
So now that we're impressed with Nunu mid, we can continue to watch him just cheat to the bottom side. Yeah, there's the ping. XBKP's like he's missing. I can't. But he's just going to go into the river and get another snowball because of
I
course.
saw a couple clips of Bjergsen and Faker just level 2ing bottom with that. Oh, MG Blaze lost the level 2 push and they're sort of getting poked out here in the bottom lane. And we see a bit of a scuffle in the mid lane.
Yeah, Falser's trying to step up to the minions, but he can't do that. Hits the double Mantra Q, but boosted Asia gets chunked through. The exhaust was actually not huge. That was the reverse, but Ari Panda's in trouble. Wardbox flashes forward for the Glitter Lance, and it's 2 kills for MG Blaze in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and Falser sort of walked the wrong way if GSM is stronger than them, but it turns out extremely confident there for MG Blaze. They were just turned around, took the fight. They had the ignite, and no heal or ignite on the side of GSM means that they lose that early fight. And this is sort of what we prescribed to MG Blaze was to they needed to have a stronger bottom lane. It seems like they were able to pick that up, and that's a kill and an assist going to Falser. Is unfortunately the recall is canceled here.
Yeah, Water Bear's
oh no, if you eat one axe, you're dead.
The smite away from Cubic Zesty. They're just gonna burst him down with the auto attacks though. It's 3 kills now for MG Blaze total in the bottom lane. I guess it's only 2 for Falser, but that's a really good start for the Ashe Lulu.
Wait, how does Syndra show up to that before Nunu? What the Well done there for MG Blazes. They're doing a really good job of making sure that their bottom lane is in it. Yeah, Falster already has those tier 2 boots, has the longsword, is sort of set up for success already 4 minutes into the game. After giving up first blood, you had to be a little worried, but now looking at being in a pretty good spot. I think there's a wave there. There's a pretty big wave that's building up in the bottom lane that's going to slow push into them, so they're not even going to be behind in XP. This is a good early game here for MG Blaze.
Yeah, and top side, unfortunately, not going super well for SG. He's behind by a level. Had to hit an early recall and buy a Ruby Crystal, and now just getting kind of shoved in underneath tower. We'll recoup a little bit of that loss, but he's having a rough time so far.
For sure. We highlighted it earlier. It's a rough lane matchup. That said, a big thing is just weathering the storm, just picking up the CS you can. Your Malphite, you're going to be tanky in the end anyway. So just don't give away kills and you should be fine. That said, one thing I wanted to point out here is that Rift Scuttle in the bottom side of the map that MG Blaze was able to secure is actually kind of massive against a Nunu. It watches for a lot of his roams and makes it a lot harder for him to impact the side lane.
Falser's just going forward. He's throwing through that Ranger's focus onto Ari Panda. Now switches targets onto boosted Asian, but they're so chunked. The extra Q, the auto isn't quite enough. Falser's just taking too much damage, but it's enough. He chunks through. Falser's on a killing spree. He just powers through that with the Berserker Greaves, and boosted Asian falls for a second time this game.
The confidence from Falser, and boosted Asian decided to just handshake it, stand there and trade auto attacks, and the Lulu shield came in just in time, and now Falser is 3-1-1 on this Ashe, has the XP lead, is up 10 CS, they're crashing a wave, so boosted Asian is missing that, and they're even going to secure this dragon.
Yeah, and that was something last game. Falser went for the early Berserker Greaves. We didn't really see the power. There it was, the difference in movement speed to be able to catch up to Ari Panda and boosted Asian while they were walking away, and the extra auto attack, attack speed is the words that I'm looking for, was enough to chunk through, and boosted Asian now off of that first death went back and bought a Fairy Charm. Off of the second death buys a pickaxe and a refillable potion. That's just super rough for boosted Asian right now.
There's some champions that really just take the tier 2 boots and just do so well with them. Callista is one of them, but Ashe, because all of her autos slow, having any sort of MS advantage just can be
Yeah, the
massive, as
stun
we
now.
see.
Cubic Zesty's
Oh
here. He throws
no.
the smoke screen down. Nunu's just getting to full channel the absolute zero. He almost traded that one back, but the unleashed power enough for XBKP in the mid lane. And another good path from Zesty, able to get a gank in mid.
Yeah, perfect timing there. Able to show up as soon as Nunu decides to go aggressive, and again, that's
Water
setting
Bear's
this
looking
Nunu
for those
behind.
axes, misses the
Ooh.
Undertow's going to pick up his axe. He has the Ragnarok ticking, so he's not going to get stunned
Oh.
up now. But he's forced to run away, gets thrown into the smoke screen. I don't think they can continue to chase, really, but Water Bear invests his flash and his ult. Boosted Asian's just getting run down on the bottom side. They see Ari leave, and they immediately chase down Boosted Asian.
Air Panda goes up to try and protect the Olaf, make sure they can get out all right, and Boosted Asian doesn't pay the Ashe the respect that she deserves, doesn't back up at all, and just sort of gets run down there. Once you eat one slow, the Ashe and the Lulu are just going to chase your ass across the entire lane. As we see, oh no, Nunu's
Oh,
going
that
for the
snowball was so
dive.
huge. The extra
Oh.
damage, the auto from Ari Panda will finish it off. So it's a kill in the mid lane. At least something back for GSM. That was a lot of damage from the snowball and the Dark Harvest, and they're at least able to get something. But right now it's 100% of the kills on your Karma. Water Bear's just getting kited away. He doesn't have that ult available again as he's already used it. Falser isn't level 6 just yet, but the damage from Boosted Asian is enough. The Wild Growth being invested. The heal isn't quite enough to chunk through, and that's a big mistake from the bottom lane. They thought they could win that fight, but Falser bites off a little bit more than he can chew.
We saw it the last few times, sort of the nice edge as Falser just, fearlessly going straight into the enemy. It's paid off the first 2 times. This time, though, not quite. GSM's able to weather the damage and pick up the kill. That said, looking at the build path, it looks like Falser on the Ashe is going for the Essence Reaver Rush, which is, it was a pretty popular build, a couple months ago, but more recently there's sort of been, a push towards this Blade of the Ruined King into Hurricane style. Perhaps this game deciding that the CDR is going to be a little bit more important for them. We'll have to make sure that Falster's able to take advantage of that with, the ultimate being off cooldown more often.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and land that, but the stun from the cleanse from Boosted
she has
Asian is enough. He flashes into tower, and Falser takes home the solo kill in bottom lane. But Water Bear's on the hunt. He's got the Undertows available. Lulu isn't coming. The Ragnarok popped. Undertow there. The shield from Lulu. There's no stun. There's no polymorph. Falser just trying to kite this out, but Water Bear will take it down. Jacklove's Lamp teleports in, and the Bramble Smash is enough. SG0 flashes forward, hits the Unstoppable Force. He'll trade 1 kill, but now Ari Panda's collapsed. The Mantra Inner Fire is enough to slow him up, and now it's just going to be a slap fight as Jack should eventually be able to take this down. Now she's going to pass up the kill to the tank of all people. But GSM able to collapse and turn that positive. Midnight Slushy looking for something in the mid lane. The Absolute Zero, the Addictive Ignite is enough to take him down. Cubic Zesty gonna collapse. The end of the line is the end of the line for Midnight Slushy, and they'll trade it back in mid.
A surprising amount of damage coming out of the Nunu, and I like the confidence with which Midnight Slushy flashes forward, has the Ignite, has the Dark Harvest, knows the damage threshold that's just enough to pick up the Syndra.
Wait, Manamute?
From Aphelios?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably fine. Maybe.
Okay, so
the chakrams are gonna be nuts, right?
Yeah, the chakrams are just gonna pop if you ever get them. Ari Panda's gonna fall though. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow's enough. The Wild Growth knockup, that's a double kill. Falser. Falser and Wardbox finally reasserting their authority in the bottom lane. We saw a couple of scary plays, but they'll take the 2v2 kill.
Yeah, and that should mean that this second dragon goes over to them as well. Sort of a turnabout compared to last game where, GSM's bottom lane was finding the solo kills and was able to find those early 3 dragons.
Yeah, but now that'll be the second one in their pocket as well. Let's see what flavor of Rift we get. It'll be...
Ocean. No, did they just get Ocean? No, it's Ocean.
It's Ocean. Ocean Spring Life. There we go. I didn't know if you saw it or you were predicting or.
I thought I saw it, but I just wasn't sure, man. Ocean and Cloud are very similar colors. Um, but this Muramana, is that just like an optional build?
So Muramon is good on like every champion if you can ever stack it, but you can't
Oh,
usually
Ward
stack it
Box.
super well. Ward Box
Oh
is
my
just gonna
god,
get out. The
Falser!
auto damage from
So much
Falser is
damage!
enough. Boosted Asian gets auto
Oh!
down. One more auto will finish it off. It's a double kill. SG ults over the wall, but he gets followed by the Twisted Advance, and the Ragnarok is ticking. They'll finish off the Malphite eventually. Water Bear takes home that kill. He went for the Cinder Hulk on the Olaf. Is
You
that
know,
that's not normal?
you
That's
hate to see it. You hate to see it because you're picking the Olaf, and once you buy Cinderhulk, your champion kind of doesn't do anything. Um, you're picking Olaf for early power, but if you don't go Warrior, then you don't really have that much early
Nunu's
power.
here. He hits the greatest snowball ever into the absolute zero. He'll
Oh!
trade 1-for-1, able to get the shutdown on Ashe. Importantly, um,
God, Ashe has 10 kills.
yeah, Ashe has 10 kills. That was a pretty thick shutdown.
Oh, into the Trinity Force. This is a really old build. This is like,
Oh, this is my
what patch are
ARAM
we on?
build.
This was a build like 3 months ago or 4 months ago when Ashe was relevant towards the end of Spring Split for
Yeah.
LCS.
Yeah, I still do this in ARAMs because it just slaps. But I go Arcane Comet and Scorch, and you just cheese people. I don't know about
Falter
doing
missed
this
out
in
here.
like an actual game right now, because like, how do you kill Maokai? How
So
do you
the big
kill
thing is
Cinderhulk
just,
Olaf?
I think the big thing is having, your ultimate just up that more often. That said, it's like,
So
you're never going to get a Blade of the Ruined King, right? Because after
yeah,
this, you're probably going to go a Zeal item or Infinity Edge. You're never going to get a Blade of the Ruined King. Hopefully, Falster's just far enough ahead that it doesn't matter. But there are going to be so many tanky people. Olaf with the Cinder Hulk is going to be tankier and is going to be harder for this Ashe to take down.
yeah. The disgusting part is that your volley's on a 2-second cooldown at the end of this. That's
For
the
sure.
the fun part. But yeah, I can't imagine going that against this team comp. Like, they need something to chunk through, and it's gonna be tough to do that here in a minute. I guess you're hoping Leandry's on XBKP as his second item. Maybe that helps. Or you just keep killing bottom lane, and it doesn't matter. Ari Panda's going to go down through the exhaust as Falster takes home his 11th kill of the game. The Ignite on Boosted Asian going to be a minor annoyance now, as Nunu and Olaf looking to collapse, but Cubix is on the side as well. He'll Proto Belt in, get polymorphed. Falster just kiting this one out. They'll take one already. The flash forward, though, from the Olaf, he's going to try to trade. He'll take Wordbox down with him. Falser's pretty low. He needs to be careful, but he'll just last hit that one. Thank you very much. And yeah, they trade 3-for-1. And they'll get this bottom tower as a result as well. We didn't even talk about that Rift Herald that was dropped top. Maokai is huge right now. But I don't know where that stands in the grand scheme of things. But for right now, he can continue just to push in with impunity in the top side.
Considering Ashe now has 13 kills in 15 minutes. That said, I wanted to point out I really like the adaptation here for MG Blaze in the bottom lane. That Ashe ult earlier, they hit Boosted Asian with it earlier in the game, and it got
Ari
cleansed
Panda going to walk
immediately.
into Cubic. Zesty doesn't get the stun, though. Going to follow forward, layering in some red buff. He'll dash out, gets one. I think Midnight Slushy can turn this one, though. He's got the absolute zero. The flash out is just enough to save them. Whew, that could have been some spicy damage, but we didn't quite get to see it. But now Maokai's on the top side. They'll finish off Syndra. The Ashe ult lands, but now Zesty just trying to kite away the end of the line. He's getting so much help from Wardbox. It's a huge Malphite ult to try to turn this one back around. But where's the damage coming from? Now Falser's able to join. Starting to shoot down that Jack Love's lamp. Look at the amount of time that takes, but Falser eventually chunks through him, picks up his 14th kill, and MG Blaze able to turn that fight in the mid lane. It's at least an even trade. That was 2-for-2, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right, because the Nunu went down, and Karma... No, Nunu did not go down, but Karma did. So yeah, 2-for-2. God, so much we don't get a chance to talk. I wanted to say that the MG Blaze swapped their ult target in the bottom lane to Ari Panda on the Karma because the cleanse on the Boosted Asian and has had so much more success since then. But, just watching Jack Love's Lamp opted for the Merc Treads this game, which... Why? like all of the damage that's going to be coming at you, Tabi just makes this Ashe so much less effective against you. And as the frontline tank, you don't really care about being CC'd, right? If you're eating a polymorph, that's good for your team. Why?
Yeah, you even have the option on Maokai to run Tenacity as your secondary if you really want to. I don't know when
Yeah,
he's
just
running. I don't have any input on that, but
you know, I was worried about Ashe not having enough damage, but if there's no Tabi, then hell, maybe you will have enough damage.
yeah, the Warden's Mail's gonna help. There's the Tabi on Olaf as well. Um, I don't. Olaf went Black Cleaver after the Cinder Hulk, which kind of just hurts.
I think that's relatively common.
Is it?
Even if you go Cinder Hulk to still go Cleaver. Um, yeah, but
All right. Well, regardless, we're
it won't
nowhere
go
near
great
that
together.
Marimuna on boosted Asian for sure. We're gonna dive away. They're gonna engage onto the Graves. A lot of damage coming through. Just a chunk. There's Malphite comes in. Another big unstoppable force from him. Midnight Slushy just trying to zone with the absolute zero, but he'll eventually fall as well. And MG Blaze finds the fight they need. That was 3 kills in pretty quick succession for them.
And we were worried about this top lane where SG Degree was sort of, you know, getting his shit pushed in by Jack Loves Lamp, you know, in the bad matchup. But, you know, so far has had 2 Malphite ults, you know, in team fights, and both of them have been massive, you know, really doing a good job of being able to find these looks as we see Water Bear on the side, but we'll quickly think
Oh,
better
the
of
stun
trying
lands
to...
onto boosted Asian, and that's a quick cleanse. He's able to get himself out. I thought that he might fall in that, but it's just a push in. They need to clean up some of these outer towers. They're so far ahead in the bottom lane, but they still need to check through some of these objectives. That's the 3 outer towers finally down at 18.5.
Yeah, and just a quick checkup on Falser's inventory. Ended up going for the Executioners. Double dagger. Do you think that's a Zeal item, or is he still going Bork?
So 2 daggers, I
Zeal
guess, would
item, it
build in.
looks
Yeah,
like.
it's going to be a Zeal item. I was going to say, I don't know exactly which one. I would hazard a guess at Rapid Fire Cannon, but yeah.
I'd say probably Hurricane, just because you have a lot of beefy boys who are coming at you. You'll probably be hitting multiple people at once. I think it's probably the best option here. That said, I like the Jack Loves Lamp. You know, seeing that Ashe is opting more for the crit build is going for that Randuin's. You know, normally you would see like a Thorn Mail, but, you know, changing it up a little bit, and probably a good decision there. So we see the Rift Herald
Yeah.
here dropping for MG Blaze.
They take the Rift Herald down with 15 seconds left. The ult lands onto Ari Panda into... Oh, jeez, that was a lot of commitment.
That's a dead karma.
That is a dead karma. That's the 3rd kill now for SG. He's headed for an Iceborne, it looks like, which is kind of an interesting choice. But Rift Herald will be spawned. They'll crash it into this mid tower. This is about as much value as you can get out of a second Rift Herald, so that's nice.
Yeah, we'll see if they follow it in and try and pressure this inhibitor turret. You know, it's still a 5v4 right now. And the Ashe
Falser's
is,
just
of course,
no
massive.
fear on the front end of this. The Maokai ult going to snare up a couple of people. They're going to chain it into the Nunu. Wardbot able to keep him safe for the time being. Falser, oh, the Moonlight Vigil was pretty big, but not big enough as BKP able to take down Midnight Slushy. And a couple of low health bars now for Boosted Asian and Water Bear, but Falser's is even lower. He's still looking for more. The man is fearless on this Ashe. And maybe he needs just a little bit of fear. He doesn't actually have any lifesteal, so I don't know what this is doing for him.
He might have a line. But he's just standing in front of his front line. Like, the Malphite is standing behind him. He's like, hey, I don't know about this, dude, but Falser doesn't care. He's just extremely confident right now. 16, 4, and 6, just absolutely massive on this Ashe pick so far.
Yeah, there's the
Finishes
Runaan's Hurricane. Oof.
Yeah. And you'd imagine Infinity Edge is coming next.
Yeah, and Cubix, for his part, goes ahead and picks up that Serrated Dirk as well, headed for some sick lethality items. Wardbox is super far ahead. I just wanted to point out he's got the finished Athenes plus some extra move speed, plus 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. That feels pretty nice.
Yeah, Dark Seal stacks are always great, especially on the support. You know, you get the extra AP for a small investment, feeling kind of nice. I imagine that Serrated Dirk on Graves is probably going towards the Umbral Glaive. I believe that's what he picked up last game to just help out a little bit with the Vision game.
Yeah, I just think
Just
it's insane. Last game we saw Boosted Asian get so far ahead on that Ezreal, and now Falser's doing the same thing back to him. And
yeah, maybe
that's just,
Aphelios is the trap pick.
yeah, that's just a huge mental swing, though, to go from just getting pushed in and destroyed in the first game in bottom lane to doing the destroying in game two. I just really love that look from Falser and Wordbox, and
This is
we'll see if
Ocean
they can
Soul.
close this out. This is Ocean Soul. This has to be fought for. Jack along the side hits the Maokai ult. They throw the Mantra Q in. Waterbear flashes in, but it's smited away. Cubic Zesty secures that, and Waterbear's just going to be left to the wolves as he's taken down by XBKB. That was a really good smite, though. That was a good timing from Waterbear, but Cubic Zesty able to find that smite.
Exactly, and now that's going to be them looking onto the Baron here. Maokai doesn't have ult, so this probably just has to go the way of MG Blaze. I don't think there's a lot of contesting that you can do, as we see, doesn't look like anyone's coming this way. And, what a strong performance here from MG Blaze. He's just really flipping the script. They drafted the stronger bottom lane, really executed on it, and now they have the Baron Nashor, they have the Ocean Soul, and we'll see what they look to get with it. Hopefully break the base. Not looking for a reset. They're sitting on a little bit of gold. But
Yeah, they got the
deciding at
one
the Baron
kill
uptime is
plus
more
the
important.
Baron, but gonna go ahead and shove this in mid. That tower is pretty low. Waterbear's still looking for it here on the front side. Doesn't have Ragnarok available, so he's just threatening with his body right now. Instead, it's gonna be the push in top from SG. He's got the teleport available, and MG. That's a lot of G's happening, but they'll go ahead and sweep through this jungle, and you can see lights out basically for GSM. They've got this one pink ward as the last bastion, and even that'll get taken down over the wall by Ashe. Tower in the top lane falls. Nunu might have found something here as Graves able to use the collateral damage to get out, but Jack Love's Lamp was on the wrong side. He'll get socked through, basically, with that unstoppable force, or not unstoppable force, unleashed power.
And he
It's
has
like
to
the
back
same
up,
idea.
which means this is probably the inhibitor here for MG Blaze.
Cubic's just
It's
trying to
sort
get
of
in the face to
uncontested.
boosted Age, and you can see he's just layering in with the Q with the Healy gun, and it just doesn't matter. Now that'll be a second inhibitor turret. They need to be careful here not to group up too much. Ragnarok popped. They're looking for the engage. Midnight Slushy's in. He gets knocked away, though. That was a really big knockback from the Syndra. Graves might be left out to dry here as he's still trying to kite back. Jack Love's Lamp is taken pretty low, but the health bars are falling for SG. It's a double kill for Malphite. They've turned it. They found 4. They found the inhibitor turret. They found the inhibitor. This should be game 2 going to Malicious Gaming.
Yeah, they have the wave pushed in the top lane. They have Syndra with the teleport. And they should be able to end it here. Just what a resounding clapback. They lost the first game. It wasn't very close, and now this time around, entirely flipping the script and are able to take their first win against GSM, who had only dropped a couple of games all season. This is a different look for them.
Yeah, and this all started just with that clenched 2v2 to start off the game in bottom side, where Falser and Wardbox found the 2v2 kill, walked away with probably a combined 100 health, and yeah, now able to secure that game. We'll head to match point for both teams, and we'll queue up some scrapes here in just a second. It'll take me a little bit longer. Wasn't planning for it, but we'll queue it up.
Another disgusting damage chart, though. Holy shit.
You're
Just
gonna see a black screen for a second. Sorry, team.
80 carries, by the way. Complaining that their role, isn't any good. But we see them both 1v9ing these games.
All right. I need the 10 hours version. There we go. All right.
Is Cancerous Rex still on? This new guy isn't working out. Oh, it's funny. I don't think that the Nunu pick was the issue. I think that the Nunu pick actually did some good things early.
I'll be right back.
You know, what's the point of playing Silver Scrapes if it's not the Mark C version?
Alright, I'm back. Hopefully you didn't scare off the chat while I was gone.
No promises. I did my best, but still haven't gotten an invite to the new lobby yet, so
Yes, same.
I imagine they're taking a couple minutes. I mean, after a swing like that, I think it makes sense to, you know, take a 5-minute break, get some water, stand up, walk around, because that was a pretty significant swing in momentum. We'll see if GSM's able to, you know, sort of clear out their minds and come back from that.
Bring out the Yumi mid. That seems, you know, like a thing, I guess.
That sounds OP. I mean, you could probably Kark mid, right?
I have an invite. I'll give you
They're
one as
showing
well.
who they care about more than Let's see how it is.
I can't get in a spectator. I guess we're just playing for whichever team's on the side. Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, I tried to swap, but you were too fast.
It's the micro, you know.
Are they swapping
I have no idea. I just work here.
back on the side? Maybe. We need cubics to.
Surprised neither team has picked Callista. Yeah, I mean, they're all 1 million Mastery Point Callista players, so I am kind of surprised about that one.
Absolutely. I mean, what are they even doing? Leaving Callista up? Yikes. MG Blaze is the team. That's right. And their Fiddlesticks went like 6-0.
I think so. You cut out during that, but I heard Fiddlesticks.
Sorry.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think MG Blaze played Fiddlesticks against us, but that was the other jungler. This is a new jungler. Does SG Degree have like no ranked history?
It's just SG. I mean,
Oh,
if
it's
you're
just
trying to
SG.
look him up, I have no idea what the symbol is, but it's not a degree symbol.
It looks very similar.
It does
to one.
look like a degree symbol.
It doesn't have the thing next to his name. You know where it says like someone's rank.
He does for me. It says Plat 4, 199 wins for me.
It doesn't show for me.
I didn't know if you were looking up OPGG. That's one for them. But... Oops.
I was not. I was just wondering why there wasn't anything listed there.
Browser.
Yep, it looks like GSM opted for red side this time around. Let's see if they are able to take advantage of that counter pick. Do you think they give counter pick to Slush? Probably.
I think Slushy makes sense, but I don't know. I also want to see Jack on not a tank So, I don't know.
I'll see if they curate a good matchup for them.
Anyway, we're still filing into the lobby here slowly. We have a link for Pro Draft, so we're getting close, but still not quite there.
So pick band starts. Is it Hirsch? It is doomed to lose. What do you think?
I'm gonna hang up this call with you and restart it because you're breaking up pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that actually helps, but it feels like it should.
Oh, is this better?
Oh no. Yeah, you're still a robot.
Let me see. Yeah, my internet might be shitting the bed right now.
Yeah, you're kind of like fluctuating. You'll be fine for a second and then not fine, but...
Let's see if that's... Nope, doesn't look like it's much.
Gotta stop your Steam download, whatever it is.
Yeah, did Steam open up?
We have confirmed readies in the chat. I don't know exactly what we're waiting for now. Other than, like, nobody's in the right position in the lobby, which I guess is important, but, you know.
Only very slightly.
I guess that's not true. Jack is in the right position, so is SG. Everybody else is shifted or slightly wrong.
I think Cubic's hopping over would help out quite a bit.
Yeah, that would pretty much just be it, but, you know. Maybe he's not here. I'm getting a little sick of silver scrapes, so... Here, we'll at least do a different version of it.
Are we gonna get Mark Z?
No. So I think you asked about Aphelios. I think he needs to stay on the bench for this game.
I was gonna say, is he just cursed or?
I mean, I wouldn't risk it at the very least, right?
Yeah, it's just sort of for your tournament life, and so far in this series, he's been bad luck. Are they asking us if we're ready? Oh, it looks like it started.
Oh, well. Oh, now they're shifting around for you. Alright, well. Oh, I hit the wrong button. No, I don't want this one. Give me this one. Okay.
They started up the pro draft.
Yeah, they started the pro draft, but they haven't banned anything yet. There we go. Okay. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3. The decider here in the Platinum League semifinal. Number 1 between Gecko Slammer Armageddon and Malicious Gaming Plays. Ezreal, the bans staying similar for MG Blaze. So far, Graves taken off the table for GSM, which is a deviation.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I necessarily thought Graves was the issue with the last game, but perhaps deciding that they want a bit more favorable matchup in the jungle for Water Bear. And also the Lulu ban, taking that off the table after how effective it was in game 1. Though I imagine that you could probably do something similar with like a Janna. We'll have to see what MG Blaze audibles to.
Yeah, I did really like the Lulu. I don't know if I would pick that as the the thing in the lane with the Ashe, but they're going to take the Ezreal and Karma off the table, and then the Galio being hovered is the last ban. They'll take that one away as well. So the Ashe is still available if they want to first pick it. That almost feels like a little bit of a bait, but it's the Volley Bear that MG Blaze wants.
Mordekaiser's also open, has been banned every single game so far. So we'll see if either team decides to get that. But I like the Karma ban. You know, you're taking Air Panda off of the champions that she's seen a lot of success on. We'll see what she opts for. You know, historically has played a lot of Nami, a lot of Leona. We'll see what they decide in this game. As we see the Ornn come out.
Oh, I don't like that. All right, well.
I mean, Ornn is going to be a tanky boy, always, you know, provides the ornament so much scaling for your team, and it is still pretty strong in the early game. You know, it's a pretty strong pick. I know that normally we want to see Jack on something a little bit more, you know, aggressive that he's able to make plays on, but not a bad pick here.
Yeah, thanks. I just hate these champions picked like this. So we've got the Ornn Trundle topside. Yeah, I don't want to analyze that. Just no. This is selfish. These champions are good. They work decently together. You have the pillar into a bunch of knockups. It's really nice. I just don't like Ornn, and I don't like Trundle, so I don't want to talk about it. Vladimir is going to be the lock-in for MG Blaze, which feels like that has to be top. It has to be a counter pick to Ornn, right?
Yeah, that said, I'm pretty sure that Trundle is good into Vladimir because the pillar still affects you even if you go into pool. And the Aphelios? Oh no.
Oh no, they fell for it. All right, well, GSM's wins game 3. You guys can all pack it up right now.
Yeah, go next.
In a very real sense, I don't mind it, but you get the counter now on the red side, and the Varus is where it's going to be for GSM. I hope this isn't Manamune Varus.
I don't know. I like the Manamune, the Muramana Aphelios, you know, experimenting a little bit with the builds. Who says Varus can't go a tier as well?
So this does open you up. You have the Aphelios, so now you can ban away, if you're GSM, some things that pair really well with it. The Nautilus is very natural.
I think he probably banned like Leona here.
Yeah, Leona, just get rid of those aggressive choices and maybe find something else pokey to exploit.
Wait, are they listening? They're not listening, are they?
No. But yeah, this should be a lot of engaged supports just falling by the wayside, you would imagine. Or you could focus mid lanes, but really the mid laners haven't been the big impactful people in this. This is all about bottom lane.
I think it's hard to target Slushy with just, you know, the 4th and 5th bans. You know, just because, you know, he has shown the Nunu, historically plays a lot of Ryze, a lot of Azir. You know, you can't ban everything from him, that it's difficult to justify spending bans on him, I think.
So the Olaf ban is also kind of interesting because that would imply that we're missing something with the Vladimir Volley Bear, that potentially it's Vladimir mid Volley Bear top and you're still looking for a jungler. So there's a lot of curveballs that could still be thrown by this MG draft, and now GSM has to kind of piece it together, and they have their 4th pick here, which you imagine is a support, so we'll see where they want to go.
Yeah. I might see like, you know, a Braum here, or I'm not sure what else they would pick. Rakan? Rakan seems reasonable.
Yeah, I don't love Rakan Varus, but it's a lot of crowd control. It's the initiation. There's just, everybody has a button that can initiate a fight on GSM right now. So I want something huge damage. The Cassiopeia would make sense for GSM, or the Ryze. Just something that's a lot of damage and a lot of magic damage to cap this comp off.
Hey, Channa, they are listening. What the fuck? Come on. I like the Janna. Janna's great into Rakan, can cancel basically everything he does. Great into Trundle. Creates a lot of space for Aphelios. I mean, I don't hate this draft.
Yeah, I really like this draft actually for MG Blaze. I want to see how they cap it off though. I don't know what I'd want to see. Blind for mid. The Syndra feels fine. I don't know that that's what I want in my heart of hearts, but feels fine.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Orianna.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah.
That seems reasonable. more shields, buffs up your Aphelios more, has the team fight potential. Volibear is a great ball delivery system. GSM, though, I imagine it's hard to pick Ryze here. I think Azir is probably the pick.
Yeah, that feels fine too. The Azir fits kind of naturally into the team comp, and that'll be locked in. Boy, we got some. I don't want to say high-level drafting, but this feels like two teams that have felt each other out through this best of three, and now we're seeing, everybody giving their best shot for game number 3. So I like these comps. These both feel pretty good. I am very curious to see what it looks like at the end of this.
Yeah, one thing to point out, though, I think, is that the Trundle into a champion like Volibear probably has less effectiveness than he might into a normal tank, because oftentimes Volibear is a champion that's stacking HP, doesn't get a ton of resistances super early, so perhaps a little bit less effective when you're looking to subjugate somebody, and there isn't really another good target on MGB. No one else is really building tanky, so we'll see how much effectiveness Waterbear is able to have with that Trundle pick. And I imagine that matchup, Volibear probably wins the 1v1 early, right? Especially since Trundle got nerfed this patch?
I would imagine so. I don't know. Trundle is pretty good early on. It depends on how long it goes on. If you can start stacking up the chomps from Volibear, I think he'll tilt it. But if you don't, then Trundle's fine. I
feel like Trundle is really good at abusing squishy champions early because he just has so much burst with his auto Q auto and PTA. But a champion like Volibear, I imagine, should be able to survive the innate burst, the initial burst, and then be able to just out damage.
Yeah, I like that you're thinking about it, but
watch.
We really haven't seen our junglers interact with each other early on. It's been very opposite sides of the rift, opposite sides of the map that they've been focused on. So
to be fair, a lot of that has been with Cubics getting this Graves pick, which is sort of the the Exodia, I beat everybody in the early game type of character that perhaps since they did ban the Graves this time around, Waterbear looking to interact a little bit more in that jungle matchup. We'll have to keep an eye on it. That said, I think one of the big, of course, the big question marks the bottom lane, but this Vladimir into Ornn is going to be really interesting to watch because they started it with only 4 people. I think Waterbear accidentally locked in Zac. Unless that was just a visual bug on my
client. I saw the Zac, but I don't... Everybody is confused in the lobby.
Why is GSM confused? Their ADC is the one who left and canceled the lobby.
So did Wardbox.
Yeah, the second time.
Yeah. I don't know that that's a client bug. I think that it's... I don't know. ADC's client closed out. Oh, well.
Unlucky.
I
mean, they already did the draft. It's not like there's going to be a...
Yeah, it's not like it super matters. It's just inconvenient at this point, which happens. We get more of this LCK champs like music. It's my favorite one.
There we go. But this top lane matchup so far in the series had been, just like tank v tank, where, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who gets too far ahead because the tanks are going to be tanks at the end of the day. But with the Vladimir, that sort of, gives a win con for either team in that, either you get the Vladimir ahead to the point where he's destroying team fights, or you set him behind where he's entirely useless. It's sort of adding a factor into this next game. It might not be entirely decided by whichever bot lane decides to Raffle Stomp first.
I wonder if Boostation can't get back in the lobby.
He should be able to. My bet is he's still reopening client. Yeah.
Just takes a minute. Yeah. Okay. They just wanted some more time to think over these lane matchups, I guess. I love that this is broken. It just shows Zac. I think it
Yeah,
fixes itself, but I don't know.
it should after he picks.
Or maybe he's playing Zach this game.
Yeah, they actually scammed
They were like
scammed the pro draft, and they just decided to go Zach.
they were like, ah man, Trundle's just a boring champion. We're gonna play
You
Zach.
know what would be great in Najana? Zach. It's a miserable matchup for Zach. So hopefully for Water Bear they aren't trying to play that.
We must all make our choices.
We need Riot on this, get our chrono breakout, go back to the draft, see what they actually clicked in.
So looking at the just looking at the compositions again, I don't know if stream can see the comps. They probably can't.
I took them down, and I don't know that I have the ability to get them back, so...
That's alright. We can talk about it in a minute, just in terms of win cons and scaling and such. But
this would be a good time I can beg for follows then. If you guys want to hit me up
exactly.
with a follow, I'd
Plug
really
it.
appreciate it. But I'm tired of begging for follows. Makes me feel dirty. We'll see if Waterbear can pick a champion. He can. Look at that. That's not Zach.
The mechanics, GSM already showing their prowess here, as they're able to lock in the correct champion in champ select. I hate when you use pro draft. You know, pro draft is the worst.
You could
but
just stop
also, it's
right
just
there. Yeah, I hate when you use
afterwards. I don't get why does it take people like 15 to 20 seconds to lock in their champion? It's like there's nothing new here. You just lock in your champion.
I can say
there are no curveballs.
as the top laner for the teams that I play, after pro draft, you pick in your champion and then you start doing your runes, and then you have to go back and try to do the second phase of bans. And inevitably, I'm still trying to finish my runes, and I'm just like, who the fuck do I ban now? So usually that ban is really slow, but I don't know about other than that.
I think that's reasonable. I'm flaming the MGB mid laner for taking 15 seconds to lock in Orianna. That's my God, what is it? Reports and honors? That's my report.
You're just gonna pull out a dive on here.
Exactly.
Well, we'll still have the 3-minute delay after this 1-minute delay, but now we can see the comps again, so you can talk about them if you want to.
So, in the last couple of games, we've seen, the teams opt for, usually the losing teams opted for more late game style. A lot of it's decided by this early game, and this time around, GSM, I would say, has a significantly stronger early game, especially in that bottom lane. Varus is known for being, such a bully in lane. Just does so much damage, and is able to poke from pretty far away, as well as the Trundle and Ornn are both. I imagine they win that 2v2 in the bottom lane just because of, or in the top lane rather, because of how weak Vladimir is. That's it. MG Blaze is full scaling here. They have the Vladimir, they have the Aphelios, they have Gianna, who's sort of is just sort of looking to allow Aphelios to do Aphelios things later on. And then Orianna, another scaling option, is all right in the early to mid game, but really is looking for that scaling, looking for that 3 to 4 item power spike. We'll see if they're able to flip it again. So far this has been determined by the early game. Will they be able to make it to those item power spikes? To the 2-3 items that they need to be effective on these champions.
Yeah, I'm also curious with Blueprint in the chat if this is actually going to be the lethality Varus, or if we'll see Boosted Asian pull out the on hit, or if he's got something else concocted, because we've seen him go kind of strange builds the first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he goes. I mean, the Merman, I think it's still an option. That could be great. He could go AP. Maybe that's the play. He could go like Rageblade into Nashers.
That actually doesn't sound like too bad of a meme. I know that it's better mid, though.
I think it just makes you all magic damage.
Yeah.
Is the big issue. And then like Vladimir can go like a Spirit Visage and feel good about it. And I don't know. That sounds scary. Do you think he should go poke, or
I mean,
Attack speed in this
I
game.
think poke is probably the better option, but at the same time, I also feel like you need his sustained damage, just to get through everything, because otherwise you're just relying on Midnight Slushy, to really do your damage. And
To be fair, it is Azir.
to be fair,
And Azir sort of is the face of DPS in the mid lane, right? He
right?
does probably more than any other champion in the game. Um, and from such a long range, something that a lot of casters will talk about is it's extremely difficult to play Aphelios into a champion like Azir, who outranges him and makes it really hard for him to, be able to do what he wants to do. Um, that said, there's a lot of shorter range people in the interim that Aphelios will be happy to beat on. Trundle, Ornn, and Rakan coming at him. I imagine he probably opted for Cleanse this game. He should be pretty happy to beat on them.
Yeah, just to recap what's happening in chat, they basically kneecapped Varus this patch. He has less AD ratio on his fully charged piercing arrow, and then he got 20 damage hit off of his E, which those never sound impactful, but the fact that you're starting E and walking into lane and used to like blast hitting and poking with it, that 20 damage starts to add up pretty quick. So
A lot of Varus' trading power in the early game is usually with the E, because he's able to get free trades with, like one single auto and then an E to proc the W, and then, put out quite a bit of damage. Losing that much damage in the early game, it's noticeable. It's definitely noticeable, especially on an AoE ability. It's hitting two different people. That's 40 damage off in the lane, right?
Yep. I just realized I have the scoreboards on the wrong side, so I'm going to fix that really quick while we're loading up. I guess I didn't need to say that out loud. I could have just hidden this. Nobody would know other than they're just looking at the draft for extra long today. But there we go.
Interesting enough, looking at the skins, Cubics didn't want us to look at base skin Volibear for too long. Opts for the 1,000 pierced bear, so that's exciting.
Yeah. So here we go for game number 3. Hopefully we'll load in. I always hate this. This always makes me super nervous for no reason because it always works out just fine. But welcome in, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you
Sorry.
see a random health bar?
Yeah, there's a random health bar back by this turret, and
Is
then
there always one
eventually.
there?
No. You'll see once. So this is like preload state, and then
Okay.
now we load into the game, and it just goes away. I think that's like the minions back there, maybe. I don't.
Is
There's
that where
only one,
minions
though.
like hang out before they get sent out of the Nexus?
Maybe.
I need the lore on this.
I don't have it. I'm not the lore man, unfortunately. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 between Gecko, Slammer, Armageddon, and MG Blaze. On the bottom side, wearing the red health bar or the blue health bars for the first time this series will be MG Blaze, and on the top side, wearing the red health bars will be Gecko, Slammer, Armageddon. MG Blaze is off center. That's gonna bother me. Let me fix that. All right, cool. So no invades this time, no ridiculous greatest snowball ever to start off the game. Just the 5 points for game number 3, and that means we're going to have a pretty straight up brawl as far as we can tell.
Yeah, and we saw their GSM already breaking the pact, the truce. They drew first blood. I mean that's basically game over, right? They're
Yeah.
already ahead.
So boosted Asian opts for the Arcane Comet, so that's likely going to be Lethality Varus then. Could still be the Maramina, and that's not out of the question. And then Wardbox actually has Arcane Comet on Janna, which is kind of interesting. I would probably expect the summon Airy, right?
It's going for more lane presence. I imagine this is gonna be like the battle Janna that puts like 3 points in a W. And just looks to poke out in the early game. I don't know if Rakan is the type of champion that you can necessarily do that against. I'm not super familiar with the matchup, but he has a heal in his kit, so it seems like it might be
Yeah,
a
he's got the
little bit
Gleaming Quill
difficult.
heal, plus Ari opted for the Guardian, which should help. After you dash back with the Battle Dance, you get some extra shields. They should be relatively safe in this lane.
That's the other thing. I imagine you could go Guardian on Janna. I bet that's actually really good.
Yeah, I feel like Guardian's just that rune that it doesn't feel super good to go, so a lot of people don't like doing it, but it's usually better in every situation.
I know playing against Guardian, that shit is so obnoxious because you know that there's an extra like 200 HP that it doesn't say they have it, but they have it there.
Yeah,
Um,
as ARAM main myself, it's like hidden OP on ARAM if you just go it on random characters, basically. If you don't know what keystone to take, just grab it. That and Dark Harvest are your hidden OPs on ARAM. Your big ARAM tech.
Dark Harvest is that's meta in ARAM.
Yeah.
I think the hidden OP is 5 glacial augments and then just slow fields across the entire bridge. That's the hidden OP that no one else sees. So we see an invade here from a water bear walking in and trying to find the other bear. And Bear's pretty low.
Yeah, Cubics has that same issue with that clear that we saw Water Bear have in game number 1, and Water Bear now going to try
Oh
to take
my
advantage of
God.
that, but BKP is already here, gets the smite, gets the chomp as well. They're going to try to fight Water Bear, but Midnight Slushy's here as he dashes over the wall. It's first blood for Water Bear, and now they'll continue to chomp down. BKP is going to have to flash. In the top lane, though, SG and Jack Love's Lamp just going to get into a little bit of a scrap.
Yeah, and Cubix was able to get the smite, able to pick up the blue buff, but Kill goes over to Water Bear, now has first blood in that Trundle matchup. You know, is able to pick up the Gromp here, is going to be able to grab at least 1 crab, if not 2. He hits the pry on the bot lane.
Oh, Ignite coming down onto Ward Box. He's forced to shield himself. The Tornado lands, but only onto 1. They're trying to trade back on Ari Panda, but that's a pretty good trade, all things considered. It is the Ignite down for Flash, but, you know, you take those.
These bottom lanes are so aggressive. Why isn't there a jungler just sitting down here 24/7?
It looks like Cubix is still listening to you. He's on the bottom side. I guess he's just doing Scuttle Crab.
Yeah.
SG hits the pool. He's going to be able to get away from that. Jack Ops for the Summoner Spellbook, which is really like pretty normal meta. They're going forward. They have to know that the jungler's here. There's no CC really available. That Tornado's not going to land. Cubix hits 1 stun into the Sky Splitter. Now some autos from Falser. Boosted Asian's kind of low, but not like really. Now the teleport from Midnight Slushy, though. They're looking to turn with Water Bear. Ward Box, that's a huge pillar. Really nicely done by the Trundle, and Falser just trying to kite back away. It's another kill for GSM. They're up 2-0. SG trying to get aggressive and looking to take down Jack in the top lane. We're probably going to have to go and watch top lane a bunch more because trading. But yeah, let's talk about bottom lane.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit too much there from MG Blaze. They make the right play, they get down there, they pick up Airy Panda's flash, but then after that they trade a few autos on the boosted Asian, but unfortunately that gives Midnight Slushy the time to teleport in, you know, and Water Bear the time to walk into lane, and you know, they're able to pick up a kill of their own. It's actually 2 of them. No, just 1. Never
Just
mind.
1, yeah.
But you know, it was the right look. Unfortunately, just a bit of an overextension, and not ideal for them.
I feel super bad for Falser now. If you click that X button, you'll see he's at 1185, just shy of that BF sword. But he's going to go
enough
for his
Berserker Greaves.
Yeah.
Hey. I don't know how good Berserker Greaves Rush is on Aphelios. Maybe he can walk out of like a Rakan W now, but not crazy about that rush. It's just an unfortunate amount of gold.
I'm kind of interested the Fiendish Codex rush for SG. What does Fiendish Codex build into that you want?
He might be doing the cheesy 45% CDR thing, where you go like scaling CDR plus Transcendence, and then you get like a Kindle Gem and Fiendish Codex, and then you're at 45%.
Do you need that against Ornn?
You know, Vladimir's do it. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm perhaps backwards and behind on my Vladimir builds, but
eventually it'll become Azanya's, right? But the thing is just getting that early power, that early sustain. You know, it just sort of lets you perma farm for 25 minutes, which is what that champion wants to do.
yeah, I'm still that guy that likes going Leander's Rylai's.
The
They're going to walk forward. Yeah, the teleport coming in from BKP hits the double shockwave, but 1 teleport returning from Jack Love's Lamp now as Ornn's here. He has the Hammer Boy bouncy time. Doesn't reactivate it? This is a really spread out fight. Boosted Asian kills Falser, flashes forward looking for Ward Box. One more auto from BKP is going to finish that one off. Now in mid lane, Slushy and Water Bear have found Zesty, going to shove him in and hit him with the pillar, knock him back. The flash forward from SG, they'll finish off Ari Panda, but now Jack Loves Lamp may be in a little bit of trouble. He'll flash forward for the auto, can't finish off Ward Box though. The pool from SG as he's trying to avoid the knockup from the Searing Charge, has the E to try to get away. Midnight Slushy is here on the side. He'll pick up another one with Water Bear. The Goon Squad collapses. That's a delayed ace. I don't even. That's 5 for 2, 5 for 3. Yeah, I guess it's 2. There's only 2 kills for MG Blaze. It's a mess. It's just a mess, Ikado.
Yeah, 5 for 2 after that extremely extended play. You know, I don't know. A lot of that was from MG Blaze. GSM was able to get their teleports channeled first. You know, in terms of the top lane, Jack Loves Lamp shows up, you know, 10 seconds before the Vladimir does, which, you know, really turns that first fight around. You know, it means that the Orianna ends up going down. And then after that, just a bit too much of an overextension, chasing down the Ornn. Ornn is just so tanky and so strong in this early game. At the end of the day, it's now, what, like a 2.3k gold lead for GSM. They have the lead there in the top lane. That Ornn is, you know, massive now, never going to be able to push that out of lane. I don't know. That was a play.
Yeah, it was just a mess, and I think in anything slightly more organized, they'll be fine. But I don't know. The Zesty getting kind of caught by Water Bear and Midnight Slushy meant that the Volley Bear couldn't join, and then they're able to Goon Squad and clean up the end of the fight. Like that, the initial 3v3 was great, was fine for MG Blaze, but then the extensions were the big issue. That extra kill that they're able to pick up in the jungle, plus the extra kill on the extra 2 kills on the roam.
Yeah, it's pretty random. Cubic's just sort of getting caught out there in that mid lane when his entire team's fighting bot. Yeah, not ideal. Though, who picked up... It looks like MG Blaze was able to pick up the Rift Herald.
They have 3 pink wards on that top side, and I guess they just get to do it. Yeah.
Good for them. That's, you know, it's quite a bit of gold in their pocket if they're able to get it and get some plates off of it. You know, if they're able to push Jack out of lane, they could get that first turret in the top lane and get so much gold onto Vladimir.
And now the ult coming through from Jack Loves Lamp. He's going to use the Hemoplague in return. The Ignite from the Summoner Spellbook's going to tick him down. He gets the heal from Hemoplague. Cubix is on the way, but he's got Water Bear right behind him. Doesn't even get the stun, has the Sky Splitter coming out. He has the Stormbreaker, he's chunking through. Auto attack, slayering down onto Jack Loves Lamp. And one more, not going to find it, but the E finally will. They'll trade it back, but Water Bear finds the other. Now the Zephyr, or the Monsoon from the Janna trying to heal up Falser, but he'll get chunked through with the Piercing Arrow as Boosted Asian takes that one. The mid laner's fighting, but BKP doesn't have any mana. Midnight Slushy dashes forward, hits him with another soldier auto. Now just regular autos left. Has another soldier, can't throw the Q through, so mid laner's fighting for no reason, but yeah, MG Blaze just looks like a different team now. They've reverted back to game 1, I guess.
Across the map, everything just seems to be going in favor of GSM. You know, Midnight Slushy is the first to rotate up, and at 2v2 in the top lane, Jack Loves Lamp was just so strong, survived for so long, was able to dodge out on the Volibear ult, so he survived, you know, extra long. Required SG to walk up on the Vladimir and finish off the Ornn with the auto attacks. Luckily enough, ended up picking up the shutdown, but you know, it's not really enough because you're now looking at more than a 4k gold lead in favor of GSM. Just everything going their way so far.
Yeah, but still, MG just opting into these fights despite being down that much gold feels kind of strange. I don't know if they're feeling like they have advantages in certain places or what the general mood is. Midnight Slushy gets shuffled in. That was a nice little combo from the Azir, but BKP able to flash out of it.
One thing I don't like here is looking at the inventories. Orianna opting for the Seraph's build, which has picked up popularity recently, but it just means that it takes even longer for her to come online. You know, at the end of the day, she's going to be stronger, you know, in 25 minutes, but right now it's just a lot less damage than just a normal Luden's Rush. And with how this early game's going, you would think that, you know, early pressure would be more beneficial for them.
Yeah, and Water Bear, I don't know if it's quietly, but he's 4-0 on the Trundle. He's already got the Zeke's Convergence available to him. Can pop that down. It's actually just a ton of damage in fights if you're comboed up properly with it.
Do Azir soldiers apply it? There's no way they do, right?
I don't think so.
So it has to be the lethality Varus, which still isn't bad. I imagine he's gonna pick up a Knight's Vow at some point, finish up the the full support Trundle.
Yeah, what I am
But
kind of worried about is that it looks like Rakan is also building Zeke's Convergence.
I don't know support itemization enough to tell you whether that's correct. But maybe if they layer their ultimates,
Yeah, Zesty is looking for
I
Jack
don't
in the
think
top lane.
they can never kill him.
Yeah, they need Stormbringer to stop the turret, but they just don't have the burst damage now. Coming through the just a
Oh,
chunk
no.
that's thick. He's got the heal from the
Oh my
cube,
god!
but
And
he's forced to
leaving him
flash away.
die.
Jack's still looking for more. The stun though from Cubic Zesty. He's trying to turn this back around. They want
Oh.
anything they can find, but Midnight Slushy's here. He's forced to Stormbringer away.
I feel like that was misplayed by Cubix. He just sort of let SG lose his entire health bar to Jack for free. I think if he's trading
Oh, and then he
back
has to pop
damage-
it, but now there's a teleport coming in from SG just to shove him back out of lane. This was the big play. They got the health bar low enough that they can force him out of lane on the second try, and now
That's
they'll get the
big
plate
brain.
gold.
They have the teleport. They're
Oh,
looking for
BKB
it.
gets knocked back into the pillar. Water Bear there waiting for BKB on the other side. He's just trying to kite away, but he doesn't have enough. He'll get chomped down. Water Bear with his 5th kill.
Yeah. At the same time, IGB are getting the plates in the top lane onto their Vladimir, onto the Volibear, but God,
Oh.
everywhere. Ooh.
Okay, well, the piercing arrow from Boosted Asian's enough to snipe down Falser.
Oh no.
Now Jack has wandered back in. They weren't able to finish off that turret. It's a re 1v2. Jack autoing through, trying to find Zesty. The Sky Splitter shield is just enough. They're diving through the Proto Belt kill. They finish him off. Oh my goodness, that took so long. They get the turret though. They've invested so much into this Vladimir, and now it needs to pay off for the rest of the game. In exchange, though, Boosted Asian is 4-1 on this bottom side. They take down the turret. The Aphelios looks like the bait to begin with.
Yeah, everything just seems to be going in GSM's way, except that Vladimir now is sort of the strong point. He's sitting on, a little bit of gold. We'll see if he's able to hit the item points at which, Vladimir's able to take over the game, but everywhere else on the map, everything's just coming up GSM.
Hey, Jack has the Ornn tech. He's got the Executioner's calling. Let's go.
Funnily enough, even with Vladimir getting all of this, he still can't 1v1 Ornn. He still can barely lane against him. I don't...
Yeah, he's down. He's up 1,300 gold and still loses that lane matchup because, Ornn.
Just Ornn things.
Anyway, lane assignments. Check this out. Ari and Boosted Asian headed to mid lane. They're going to look to knock down that mid tower. You've got Midnight Slushy safe on the bottom side. As he's just going to shove in toward that tier 2.
They're
Jack
just
on the
giving
top
up
side.
the-
They're going to find Cubic Zesty here. Ornhorn coming through from the top. Going to get 2 knockups as Water Bear just trying to force his way through.
Ooh.
Good disengage from the Janna Monsoon. We'll see if they can track anything down. Now looks like it's enough of a disengage. So...
It's
yeah,
a great Jan ult there.
it was a great Janna ult, but they're still losing things. The bottom side right now, Midnight Slushy is just wailing on this tier 2 tower. Even if they don't break this mid lane, this push is just working out super well. The lane swap is, there's no ult on the Janna, she'll get taken down, and Boosted Asian is 5-1 now and has the turret in mid lane to his credit.
And the macro game here from MG Blaze, they're just super slow on their rotations. Their lane assignments are just slow, and they're losing so much now. And, at the end of the day, their bot lane that's far behind gets isolated in the mid lane, and Boosted Asian's able to pick up another kill. Now 5-1-0 has the 2
Oh,
complete
Cubix is looking for
lethality
Boosted
items.
Asian now. Goes in, actually doesn't get the stun, and now he's going to get turned on. Water Bear puts the pillar down, not the perfect pillar. Shockwave buys him a little bit of distance, but not much of damage. Zesty's just chunked through another piercing arrow, but doesn't quite zero him out. Importantly, Midnight Slushy's still looking for. He slides into the
God.
base, and he'll slide through with the kill. Ward Box will trade it back with the Ignite and the auto attacks, but they lose the inner tower in mid lane at 17 minutes.
Yeah, but that was a really nice Azir combo there, able to get all the way over that wall. Um, well done to pick up the kill, even if it's traded back. But yeah, GSM, they pick up both those turrets in the mid lane. You know, no complaints there from them. They're getting everything that they want right now.
Yeah, and it's still SG isolated on this top side. We haven't felt his presence in the rest of the game, but he needs to keep getting his farm and make his presence felt. I think that's the only way back into it right now for MG Blaze. Again, this is, I don't want to say tournament lives because there's still a third place game, but this is a big money swing to drop from the finals into the third place game.
Yeah, it's this, effectively is their last chance at getting into finals, at winning the tournament. That, this is where they need to make their stand. And right now, their objective with their team composition is to just survive. Try not to bleed out too much. Right now, there's a gushing wound, and they need to get a tourniquet onto it. They need to apply some pressure and, just try and get back into this because, they're coming close to their item breakpoints. The Vladimir's near a death cap. We have a couple of item completions on the mid and bottom lane, but they really just need 2 to 3 more items to be able to take this fight. It's just about surviving. And the Mountain Drake did just spawn. It should go the way of GSM.
Yeah, and
I don't know if
Slushy,
MG Blade is strong enough to contest
Slushy
this.
has teleport and he's able to grab that turret in top lane. They'll look for an engage on ward box, force that flash away, but again, they can't fight back. They're getting pushed out of their own jungle. They need to get in the side lanes and farm, but GSM forcing them to group up for this objective.
Yeah, just forcing them to group up for the Varus to just poke them down. The fight is lost before it even starts, and now you have your only strong member stuck in the side lane against Slushy, who is also able to just push him out by being longer range. He even has the teleport. He can show up if you guys decide to force the 5v4.
Yeah, now Volibear just trying to retreat from his own jungle. That was a lot of chakrams just thrown into Ari Panda for no damage. The shields from the Guardian and from the Rakan passive were enough to negate that. SG sees this moment. He flashes forward for the Hemo Plague. He'll, he gets nothing out of Slushy, actually. That's just the dash from his Q and E.
Slushy doing a really good job of getting the max range.
Ooh, that Chain of Corruption just whistled wide. That might have spelled disaster if that was able to land, but instead it'll be everybody backing up. I keep seeing this Chain Vest and Giant's Belt on Volibear. I'm like, oh, he's building a red buff. We're not playing TFT, but yeah, we're still looking for those items to really come in, and there's just no gold being funneled into MG Blaze right now. They're going to find Water Bear here just doing the Scuttle Crab.
They have no damage.
They have
though.
no damage.
Yeah, no, their carries are just so far behind. They have no items anywhere, no damage anywhere. That they can't even kill this Trundle, which Trundle admittedly has quite a few items, but I don't know. It's not looking good for them, though. Looking at it, it looks like Air Panda did opt for the Zeke's Convergence. You were right in calling that out. Do they both have it on Varus?
Yeah, you can't do that, so it'll overwrite. Trundle's just isn't attached right now, and Ari Panda's is attached to Varus.
So, I mean, maybe if they ult at different times in the fight, you get twice as much uptime. Maybe it's the big brain.
Yeah, Chain of Corruption lands onto Aphelios. He'll get knocked up by the Rakan and the Ornn just for the cherry on top. They'll kill the Janna off. That's a clean double kill from Boosted Asian and the rest of the team with the CC. Midnight Slushy's still looking for SG in the top lane, and Water Bear not going to make this a fair fight as he hits the pillar, goes in for the chomps. SG is down as Water Bear is dominating. Stormbringer popped into the Orianna ult, but there's just no damage to follow through. They're slowly chunking through the rest of this, but Boosted Asian is untouched on the backside of this fight. Zesty flashes forward, trying to finish off the Ornn, but it's not going to be enough. The flash away. That's an ace for GSM.
And the desperation play from MG Blaze just isn't enough to hit the combo that they want, that Orianna and the Volibear. But unfortunately, it does literally 0 damage. They beat against Jack for 20 seconds and just aren't able to take him down. And this should be the mid lane and probably the inhibitor also go in the way of GSM, which just means that Baron's right around the corner.
Yep, and This is a good time to reset. Let's see how much gold's in the bank. About 1,000 on everybody, 2,000 on Varus. Not a huge amount, but enough to complete some items here on this recall. And they'll reset and set up some vision control for Baron. Yeah, MG needs to just stall out now and hope that they can funnel some farm onto this Aphelios or onto this Orianna. The Vladimir finished up Death Cap, but we need to see just the perfect Vladimir fight from SG to even have a chance at finishing off both Midnight Slushy and Boosted Asian.
And even then, you're pushing through this Knight's Vow that's completed for Trundle. It's going to be extremely difficult, I think, to actually have enough damage to push through that. Maybe you get, a miracle Vladimir ult, but that's really what you're banking on. Maybe GSM tanks up Baron for a little while, they get the debuff on them, and then Vladimir just one-shots everyone. Is that the win con right now?
I mean, at the current moment, I think that's the thing. You have to hope GSM throws at Baron, which they have a history of, to be fair. But I don't expect it in this game. That was just a chunk from Boosted Asian. He's lining up, he fires, it's just a little short.
I think that does kill if that lands.
Oh, for sure. That's 100% a kill if that lands.
Jeez. Yeah, no, MG Blaze has already shown that they're not able to hold against this team right now, so in terms of stalling this game out, just giving up Baron is probably going to be the end of the game, so we'll see. GSM's looking for it. MG Blaze doesn't have a ton of vision on this side. They don't know what's going on. It looks like they might be going for Dragon instead, trying to...
Well, they can't even go for it. It's 45 seconds until the Dragon.
Yeah.
All they can do is set up some vision, maybe. And even then, I don't know what that gets you. It stalls Soul, I guess. That's nice. It's Mountain Soul? Yeah, I guess you really don't want Trundle Ornn to have Mountain Soul.
Yeah, but it's still not even spawning. It's... You accomplished essentially nothing. You get a little bit of vision. Maybe you can get a pick here. Maybe Rakan walks straight into you and you can kill Rakan.
The Pillar's going to separate SG from the rest of the team. The flash in from Ari Panda hits the Quickening, groups everybody up for the Ornn Horn, which knocks them all up. Volibear jumps in. He doesn't have the Orianna ball. That Shockwave didn't hit anybody. He's on to Boosted Asian on the backside. The fight is just separated, though, and that's where GSM shines right now. Boosted Asian picks up another kill. He's safe on the backside. SG's doing what he can, able to pull away from the arrow, but he's going to fall in the process. It's an ace for GSM. They don't need this dragon, but they're going to take it anyway. Jack's going to teleport to the top side. We'll see exactly how much they can pick up now. That's Mountain Soul just tacked on. That wasn't Jack. That was Midnight Slushy teleporting. But Mountain Soul tacked on to all these tanks.
I feel like they probably could have ran down mid and ended, but instead opting for a little bit safer here. Picking up the Mountain Soul, inhib top. And there's just disaster there for MG Blaze. They had the right idea, but Vladimir wasn't able to get onto high priority targets. The Volibear jumped in with Orianna Ball, but unfortunately it just doesn't hit anybody. And they're now trying to defend this bottom turret, and they aren't even defending that. They're just going to give up 3 inhibs right here.
So you give up 3 inhibs, but then you get the triple super minion waves in? Yeah, look, that's not even doing damage. That's the red-white combo. The dreaded red-white combo from Aphelios is doing nothing to Waterbear. They're going to pull him in. They get the shutdown. That's on Aphelios. That's not...
That's 1,000 gold.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
He picks up the Hurricane here. He farms every single wave. This is the 400 farm Aphelios win con right here.
At least you have a win con. Like 4 seconds ago, like back before they got that pick, they didn't have one. So I'll take it, right? Any glimpse into this game. But boy, he layered into that Trundle with red-white for a good 15 seconds and barely was able to chunk him to half.
Orianna is sitting on money for Death Cap. So they are reaching these item completions where, like, there is a magic potential fight where maybe they kill everybody.
It's still a stretch. Like, we're just trying to hype this up a little bit. In all reality, we should be talking about how they're dead. But
GSM is up 11 or 10,000, basically 11,000 gold right now. It's slightly in their, just ever so slightly in their favor. I like that Boosted Asian had
He
the
bought the Sanguine Blade and sold it.
yeah.
He's got the Yumu's Wraith Band now. That was the high priority item to upgrade. I guess they're really. You have the double Zeeks to upgrade, but that's not really worthwhile. I guess the Wraith Band is actually the call. Chain of Corruption lands onto Janna.
Oh
They're trying to
no.
engage onto the support. The Zephyr is almost enough, but the chunk through from the piercing arrows is more than enough for GSM as they look to collapse into the space. Jack Love's Lamp just zoning off right now. He'll Searing Charge back out, but the inhibitor falls again in mid. Midnight Slushy dashes in. Has to be a little bit careful about these ranges. Can't get too antsy just yet. But Water Bear's
Oriana
taking...
ult still up.
Yeah, Oriana ult is still up. They have maybe a tool that they can use. The Stormbringer comes in. They'll knock Midnight Slushy back. He's low. He'll actually fall in the process of this. They'll trade 1-for-1, but that just doesn't matter at this point. SG fighting on the steps of his fountain, but the second Nexus turret falls. Can they defend the Nexus now? SG goes in. He doesn't have the pool available. Now he does. Able to Hemoplex up. Water Bear's pretty low. They'll defend for now, but look at the damage on the Nexus. They don't defend it. The minions end the game while all of this is going on. GSM advanced to the finals 2-1. It was a competitive series, but the games weren't super competitive, I guess is a good analysis here.
I think that that's a perfect description of it. GSM showed that they could bleed there in that game too, but in game one and game three, just sort of rolled over both games. Just everything going their way, and at the end of the day, they had a massive lead here, able to close it out in 28 minutes, and well done to them pulling that one out.
Yeah, so congratulations to GSM. We'll see them in the finals on Saturday. Opponent to be determined tomorrow night. 8 p.m. will be the time. We'll actually have that game on our channel as Return of the Middle Sticks take on Bucky's. Ooh, slip. Hopefully not
Yeah,
come back to bite me. But
yeah,
yeah,
clip it,
for
clip it,
for
and
this
clip it.
series, uh, GSM just outperformed in games 1 and 3. Particularly, we saw the bottom lane diff swing back and forth in both games, and we saw Waterbear had just a monster performance in game number 3 on the Trundle.
Yeah, absolutely. Really just facilitated his lanes to get ahead. It seemed like he was everywhere they needed to be, and another bot lane that was just sort of entirely swung in one direction. There was no swinging back the other way. Boosted Asian and GSM were able to take that one down.
Yeah, we saw. Um,
Vladimir tried.
yeah, the solo lanes had such little impact in this series, and I'm wondering, just going into our next semifinal tomorrow, if we'll see that kind of continue on through, or what this means kind of in the grand scheme of things. The big takeaway I have is Aphelios is just terrible. It's 0-3. Like, there's no reason to pick that champion anymore, right?
Worst champion in the game. It was a trap, and every team that drafted it just lost there. Um,
But the
yeah,
biggest takeaway I have, of course, is GSM games 1 and 3. If they show up like that in the finals, they're a force to be reckoned with. And, um, it's sad for MG Blaze to fall in such fashion in 1 and 3. They'll have another shot in the third place game to take a crack, get a little bit of money in their pockets for their troubles, but kind of commiserations to them on a tough fought one too.
Yeah, and even in a series like this where the games didn't feel super close, they still had a blueprint for how they can win these games. In that game too, they were so dominant, and so well able to transition their lead into a win that they can still take things away from this, right? It's not like, oh, we just got stomped. They did extremely well in game two and were able to take a game against the team that has been extremely dominant all season in GSM.
Yeah. So with that said, that's going to do it for our broadcast today. Um, Thank you, Aikido, for joining me today. I would really appreciate if anybody in the chat who hasn't followed the channel would follow now. This is the last time I'm going to call for that today. But yeah, it was a really tough hot series, and I'm excited to see GSM play on Saturday. I don't know what I'm looking at in terms of my personal casts on Saturday or if I'm involved at all, but we'll have updates. What is for sure is here in about a half hour on the main channel, which is GetRect TV. You're going to have the first Diamond semifinal between Stuck Gaming and question mark XD. So you won't want to miss that. Go ahead and tune in there. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we've got the Middle Sticks twofer. I'm going to have the Platinum semifinal here on this channel, which was Rodham Platt versus Bucky's Abusement Park. And then on the main channel, the big headliner, I think, for the weekend is Return of the Middle Sticks Diamond versus Gecko Slammer Armaggedon Diamond. So please follow GetRect TV as well if you're not already, and we'll have a good time the next couple of days. We've got that, and then straight into finals on Saturday. So yeah,
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to tune into those as well. Don't want to miss a Maris cast. That's
so thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for the Rodham Diamond game.